Chapter 51, Festival 1. The start of the chap was written on a break at work. Word count 1533. Number. The festival was honestly fun. Stands everywhere for both food and games. You could hear music and laughter everywhere. I have been having a blast. One of the game stand owners tried to cheat. So I used my quirk to cheat back. And win all the top prizes. I gave the plus highs to the girls while I'm walking down with a new MP3 player. Which I will probably never use again. Did you have to cheat? Tetsuya just deadpans at me. I put my hand over my heart. Cheat? Me? How could you? You know I am an honest and law-abiding citizen. Innocent face. Right. If that's true, I'm the Queen of England. Tetsuya grumbles. Well, in that case, all hail Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth III, known to close friends as Tetsuya. I make an exaggerated bow to him. Yeah, laugh it up. I hope you choke on your spit, you asshole. Off topic real quick, what are the odds that this queen lives as long as the one from 200 years ago? Tetsuya. You mean Elizabeth II? Well, considering she is royalty and has a buttload of money, she can afford those quirks that increase lifespan, so unless she is assassinated she will probably live a long time. What are you guys talking about? Momo and Ran came back from their try at the stand. A dead old grandma and her new great-granddaughter that will be joining her, Tetsuya says offhandedly, and I smack him on the back of the head. Hey! He whines as he holds his head. Don't tell them things like that, you idiot. They are 9. Well, so are you. Facepalm. Never mind, just don't do it in front of them. If you do, they will tell my mom and she will nag me for days. So in revenge, I will tell your mother that you used swear words in front of children. I point at him. But I didn't. Think she will care? I answer back with a grin. You are a special kind of bastard. He grinds his teeth. Thank you, it's nice to get complimented for your hard work. Being me isn't easy, you know. Fine, you goddamn narcissist, I'll watch what I say. He crosses his arms. Momo, Ran, keep this a secret. It's very important stuff. I'm counting on you. Their faces brighten up at my comment. Okay, we promise. God, they are naive. I need to fix that before they enter high school. Well, at least they'll keep quiet. I turn around and glare at the nearest bodyguard who should have heard us. He just brings his hand near his mouth and makes a zipper motion. It's really no big deal. But my mother can keep on talking for hours. That woman just won't stop. I can mute her, but I will still have to stay near her and pretend I'm listening. I will not waste my time like that. Especially now, with all the things I have on my plate. Attention! The fireworks will begin soon. For those that wish to watch it up close, please go there without running and pushing. There is still more than enough time. Thank you. Well, let's start heading to the hill. We didn't reserve a place there for nothing, Momo says excitedly. I shrug my shoulders. Sure, we can head there now. Halfway to the hill, I hear the sounds of plates hitting each other. I turn to the sound and to my surprise there he was. A tiny old man was scarfing down bowls of different dishes and stacking the empty ones on top of each other. There were 4 stacks of 15 bowls approximately. He lets out a soft burp. Ha, that hit the spot. What place is next on the list? Chen asked the man beside him. He looked like his secretary with that notepad, to be honest. Mr. Chen, the next on the list is the spicy Chinese noodle stand. He spoke softly and evenly without any changes in his voice. Spicy, hey, move it down the list. I want something with bread right now. All right, there is that pizza stand on the other side near the hill, the secretary suggests. Pizza. Yeah, pizza sounds good, he says while playing with his mustache. Whoosh, 3 figures dashed towards Chen, each from a different angle. One of them even came in from above. They had daggers with a serrated edge and weird points. You could tell that the daggers weren't designed to do fatal damage. More like scratching the skin through whatever the victim is wearing to poison them. Chen acted as if he hasn't noticed the people rushing at him with daggers. He quickly took the bowl that fell out of the owner's hand and started eating. Right as the first attacker was within 2 meters of Chen, Kano appeared behind him, grabbed his head and slammed him into the ground. The attacker's face would definitely be disfigured judging by the force used from the crack on the road. Seeing their comrade taken down so quickly made the other two freeze up. The rest of Chen's bodyguards didn't miss the opportunity. 2 guards delivered a strong heavy kick to the torso of one of the attackers. While the other attacker who tried to do an atrial attack, each of his limbs was broken by the 2 nearest guards. I actually facepalm at their stupidity. I mean, I knew that any amateur could take the job since it was an open contract. But really, jump at the target? Well done, Kano. You know what to do with them. I want to know why I was attacked, Chen. It will be done, Kano bows lightly. The other guards grabbed the attackers without Kano even saying anything to them. Then I saw that out of the corner of his eye he looked directly at us. His eyes lit up a bit, showing me that he recognized us. The air starts to shift. Tetsuya was pressured by his gaze. He let go of the carefree act and tenses up all his muscles. I just focus on Kano and flare my killing intent with my battle lust. He lifts an eyebrow at me and starts walking near us. With each step, it seems that the air between us is thicker and harder to breathe. The tension is off the charts. He stops about 10 meters from us. Shinichi Kodo, Yuaki Tetsuya. Your fame is well deserved, I see. Especially you, Kodo. Kano starts it off with a monotone voice. Tetsuya was surprised that a man of Kano's caliber knows us. I just put my hand on his shoulder to calm him down. Kano isn't very well known in the light side of the world. When he isn't on guard duty, he fights in underground tournaments and death matches. So in Tetsuya's perspective, a dangerous man working as a bodyguard approached us and called us out. It's an honor that someone as strong as you knows us. I have to say your fame precedes you, I say with a fake smile on my face. Sigh smile. HOH, you know of me. I thought I wasn't very well known to the public, Kano smirks. Tetsuya just keeps quiet and lets me do all the talking. You aren't, it took quite a bit of digging to find you. Kano agito the fang, I answer back. Kano starts to increase the pressure on us. And for what reason did you look for me? I just drop my fake smile and force my very being on him. Because you are strong. Strength seeks out strength. I keep a list of any strong person in my vicinity. After all, you never know who you might fight with. And you would? Fight me, I mean, he looked like he was about to jump at us at any moment. Oh, most definitely. But not now, you are working, and I'm not quite ready yet. I'll be seeing you in a few years. Then we can have one of those underground matches you seem to like to fight, and he narrows his eyes at my last comment. How did you find out, Abu? He stops himself, then smiles. Strength seeks out strength, hey. Our very strength incites challenge. Why do you think so many villains just go and attack heroes? To prove that they are stronger. Do I need any reason other than that? He just outright chuckled at my last comment. And you are the perfect opponent for me. I remain undefined so far, and as far as I know you as well. There are only a few people that can challenge me from the good side of the world. So of course I would turn my sights to the underground matches, I say directly, looking at his eyes. Asterisk. Ha 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 ha. Very well. I can no agito accept your challenge. No matter how long it takes. I will wait for you in my strongest form. And we shall see if you have what it takes to surpass me. Shinichi Kodo. He turned his back on us and went back to his employer. A/N. He is talking about light and dark sides. Wait until the next chap before you say the MC is cringe. Chapter 52, Festival 2. After Kano left, Tetsuya relaxed his body. I held him by the arm so he doesn't collapse. I can see his knees shaking. Are you really going to fight him? He froze us in place with just the pressure he exerted. You were better off than me, but I could see the sweat on your neck, Tetsuya asks me with a little fear showing on his face. Smack! I hit him on the back of the head. Of course, I won't fight him. I'm not an idiot. I just said all that bullshit so he doesn't attack us now. I know who he is but I don't know his personality. What if he is some battle maniac? That, and I'm hoping I made a strong impression so his thoughts are to out future fight. I did it so by some miracle he might be distracted for a split second, so the teams have a bigger shot at getting a drop of blood. Tetsuya just opens his mouth and gapes like a fish. You bluffed? You bluffed him? Are you mad? What if he finds out? He grabbed me by the shoulders and started shaking me. Wait. You can't beat him? Right, right? Now he started doubting himself. Smack. Get yourself together. This is what happens when you only fight people near your level. Puberty messed you up, you had more balls when you were younger. Then again, from your reaction, I guess they shrunk. You really are turning into a queen, aren't you? Ha 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 ha. Fuck you. Stop messing around and be serious. Nope, 9 out of 10 he would win even if I was in my peak condition. I'm 9 years old but my physique is closer to that of a 14-year-old. He is in his 30 TIS and in his prime. Even if I could beat him in pure skill, I would lose the fight just based on brute strength. If we were fighting with martial arts alone, that is. If I used the animal transformations, I think I would win one-on-one. I don't exactly play fair. One scratch on him and the poisons will do the rest. But... HAAA Tetsuya tries to find the words but ends up slumped and sighs in defeat. You know what, it's fine, it's said that bastards live for 1,000 years. There is no way you are dying yet. And if you aren't dying, that means Kano lost, so there is no reason for me to worry. Ha ha ha, I'm so smart. I'm just starting here watching Tetsuya pace and mumble delusional outcomes. Hey? So this is what happens when teens are pushed past their limits. Good to know. Yet everything will be fine, in fact, I'm going to get a girlfriend tonight. Yet. Positive thoughts for the win. Smack. Snap out of it, the fireworks are starting soon, you have an actual chance of finding a girlfriend there than having a mental breakdown here. I stare at the idiot, I don't blame him one bit, he is only a child. Taking the battle lust from someone like Kano? It's already good enough that he didn't pass out from the pressure Kano emitted. Well, why didn't you say so? Let's go. Facepalm. I miss the old quiet, stoic Tetsuya. Number. Where were you, Shinichi? 1 minute you are walking with us and the next you and Tetsu-kun disappear. Chibi Ran crosses her arms. Yes sensei, that wasn't very nice. Chibi Momo puts her hands on her hips. Great, I have 2 9-year-olds pouting at me. We met a fan and had a little chat about martial arts. Tetsuya scoffed at my comment and I elbowed him in the stomach. Thankfully he took the hint and didn't say anything. A fan? Yeah, he was an interesting guy. I heard Tetsuya mumble psychopath under his breath. I don't know if that was for me or for Kano. Well, let's go people. We might have reserved a place on the hill, but we still need to get to it. And the crowd is getting bigger and bigger, so if you don't want to push people for 20 minutes to get there, suggest you hurry up. I start walking knowing full well that they will follow me. I need to hurry up and get there first. The hill is a great location for me to spot where Chen will be. I couldn't find out if he would stop to look at the fireworks or just continue his eating spree. I know that there are at least 5 teams here. The one with the amateurs was taken out easily. There are definitely more, but after seeing Kano and the rest of the elite guards, they will most likely back off from the mission. The ones that remain are the professionals and the truly desperate people who need cash. 1 drop of blood for $5,000 is a dream come true for them. Plus I pay extra if they get more than 1 drop. So most of them are probably going for more. I said I would pay $100,000 for a blood bag of Chen's blood. I don't mind spending that much if it means getting my legs back. I can always go and rob more gems and museums later on. Number. 10 minutes later we found our spot. You could see that it was pricey. It was sectioned off from the rest. There is more than enough space for us and the bodyguards to sit there. There was even a bar. Mr. Yaerozu doesn't mess around with things like this. He once told me his motto: you must spend money to make money. Just by people seeing his daughter here in this VIP spot makes it look like he did not hesitate to spend money to make his daughter happy. That could lead to different reactions, but the general public will know that he is a doting father and have a slightly better opinion of him. Jealous people will always be jealous, so their opinions don't really matter. As for people of his standing, they will look bad if they don't do something similar. It's like a competition of who has a better public image. Stuff like this with their children, donations, fundraisers are very common. The fireworks will start in 5 minutes. Showtime. Chapter 53, Attackers. I came home and I fell asleep. That's it. I was just too exhausted. No bullshit reason that authors are known to use. I planned to write yesterday. Didn't. I went to lie down. And I fell asleep. Enjoy the chapter might be confusing. Just a bit. Okay, more than a bit. Prepare for a lot of confusion this mini arc. Number. POV from different teams. 5 minutes until the fireworks begin. Team 1 Jihasaikai. I get that this is a chance to earn some easy money. But are we really so broke that we have to take open contracts like this? Grunt 1 grumbles. Hey, stop complaining. If Hojo-san hears you, he'll kill you. Grunt 2 whispers to him. If I hear what? Suddenly a shadow appeared. They turn around to see a giant of a man. He was very muscular, had a bald head and a white face mask on. Hojo-san. No, it was nothing. We were wondering why an official like you is on an easy mission like this. The grunts start panicking. Because we need the money he offers. If we fill a blood bag, it will help out the organization greatly. Toya and Tabi will also be arriving. Mistakes will not be tolerated. The grunts pale, even more. 3 of Hasekai's bullets are arriving for a single mission. The pressure increased on them. If they mess up, they will be killed. Do I make myself clear? Hojo glares down at them. Yes, sir. She Hasaikai 3 grunts, 3 bullets. Hojo. Toya. Tabi. A/N the 3 bullets that Suniter beat. Number. 4 minutes. Team 2 the Serpents. See, aren't you glad we took this job in Japan? Now we even get a bonus. Ha! 1 blood bag and we already get the same amount as the mission we did, says B Merc 1. Stop being so cocky. You saw what that bodyguard did to those amateurs. C Merc 2, you get the idea. Yet, he will be a problem. And draining blood and filling up a blood bag will take time. Size D. Well, that's why I got this special blood bag with a pump. Put this little sucker in and it will drain him dry in seconds. B raises it up and puffs his chest out proudly. Cricket noise. Did you really keep that a secret right until the last moment? E says in disbelief. Surprise. B grinds widely. Bonk thud. Ouch. Why did you hit me, leader? Do something like this again and I'll put a bullet in your head. I have been thinking about a solution for the blood bag thing for the last 4 days. Says the Merc leader A. The vein on his forehead was pulsing like crazy. A/I. Sigh, you really are a moron. Why the hell would you hide something like this? See face palms. For the surprise factor, of course. You should have seen the looks on your faces. B laughs and points his finger at them. Bonk asterisk. Forget the idiot, if he screws up we kill him. There are 4 minutes left. Get ready, Chen is coming this way. A glares at them. All of them turned silent and put their game face on. The Serpent's 5 members ABC.D.E. got the idea from Naruto. A/B combo. I. B. Number. 3 minutes. Team 3. Get your head in the game. This is no time to be getting cold feet. Mob 1. B. But if we screw up we will go to jail. Mob 2 stutters out like a familiar wimp with green hair. Mob 3. We need that money. Each of us is in department. Some from gambling, hospital debts, and one of us even lost his house. Mob 3 glares at Mob 4. Mob 4 looked like shit. Tattered clothes, sloppy appearance, and he had a dazed look on his face. Sigh. We only got one shot. One single moment to get our lives back. Are you going to let it slip? Mob 1 glanced at Mob 2 who shook his head lightly, but was still nervous. Good. Get ready, the other teams will go in first. We will wait until they tire the bodyguards out so we can get a couple of drops. Mob 1 looks at his crew before sighing and starting praying for this to work. MHA Team 4 members. Number. Team 4 Gato. 2 minutes. We are ready. Mr. Gato, a man with a thick Russian accent, spoke out. Good. It's finally time for me to get my revenge on that bastard, Chen yells out Gato in anger. Gato has shaggy brown hair and sports a pair of small, circular black glasses. He wears a black suit with a purple tie, a yellow shirt underneath his coat and closed-toed shoes. Yes sir, we will use the crowd and the other attackers as a cover to eliminate Chen, while his bodyguards are busy. Good. I'll finally pay back that gluttonous bastard. I lost millions because of him. Gato slams his hand out of anger. Brrrr. The bodyguard checks his phone. Chen arrived at Site B. The guard announces. Give me my binoculars. I want to watch how he bleeds out on the street. Gato men. Number. Team 5 assassins. 1 minute. A group of people was hiding in the shadows. Showtime, gentlemen. We have already been paid. Chen dies today, spoke deeply the person in the back who was leaning against a tree. The leader of the assassins, Odin. Yes, boss. Chen was a fool. His hostile takeover of food companies made him a lot of enemies. To think they hate him so much. That the banded together and gathered the money required to hire us, smirked Trey. We go according to plan. It was quite fortuitous that someone else is targeting Chen as well. I don't know why they need his blood. But if there is a chance to get some blood, a bit of extra money is always welcome. Dose laughed with a greedy look in his eyes. Yet, I have never seen the boss laugh so much as he did when he saw the open contract. We don't have to do anything, the distraction is going to happen on its own. We just need to wait for the right moment to strike. Trey. I counted 4 teams here other than us here. There were more but they left after Kano Agito easily took down the previous attackers, said 4. A/N Roman numeral 4 equals 4. Pronounced separately IV like in 4 bag. That man is going to be a problem. Him and the other bodyguards. There have been numerous assassination attempts on Chen before. None of them succeeded because of them, 5 grumbled. Well, they haven't faced us yet, smirked 6, raising his sniper rifle. Don't get cocky. Cockiness lead to mistakes. And that is not an option here. The boss yells out. The rest keep quiet, but their faces showed they understood. Bzzz. Phones started vibrating. It's time. Let's show them why the wolf pack is feared across the globe, smirked Odin, the assassin leader. Assassin 6. Odin. Dose. Trey. 4. 5. 6. Number. The fireworks start in 10. 9. A/N got this idea from Generator Rex. It was kinda stupid to call 3 of them in English. 1. 5 and 6. I kept the rest just to keep it true to the show. But I changed 1. It's Odin Russian for 1. Word count 1124. A/N I don't want to waste my time giving grunts names. Gato from Naruto. Chapter 54, Fireworks and Chaos. Word count 1200. Fucking hell. There are problems at work. The bosses are stressed and they make it our problem. A machine broke down and we have to do the work manually until it's fixed. People took a sick leave, making it that much harder. The last 3 days the internet went to hell. Today it's been on and off every 15 minutes. Sigh, fuck my life. This is too long. The rant continues at the end of the chapter, read the whole chap. Number. The fireworks start in 10. 9. Shinichi, it's starting. It's starting. Ran and Momo just shake my arms. Tetsuya, who was near me, looked at them. It's just fireworks, I don't get what the big deal is. Same, actually, I don't get the appeal of watching fireworks, they are loud too. 7, 6. That's because both of you don't have any delicacy, Momo, I think I misspelled this. 4, 3. Showtime, baby. They are going to start attacking the moment the fireworks explode. I'll just observe from the distance and use my spy files for a closer look. FYYYYYYY, firework going upwards. Boom. The crowd started hearing as the explosion happened. Then all of a sudden everything went to hell. Instead of teams rushing in to draw blood from Chen, gunfire started. Bullets fired from every direction at Chen. What the hell? Tetsuya yells out. Get down, you fool! The same goes for the rest. I yell out, not even bothering to hide my anger. Pressure starts to spread from me and put our guards on edge. Get them the hell out of here. I'm going to strangle whoever fucked up my plans. Kid, let's G. One of the bodyguards put his hand on my shoulder only to freeze from my gaze and my sharp nails on his wrist. If you don't move them within the next 5 seconds, you will find yourself laying down on the floor paralyzed for life. I didn't even try to bluff, I can make poisons that easily do that. I might not be able to beat them in a straight-up fight, but with dirty tactics is a piece of cake. It took a second for his brain to comprehend that I am serious and he quickly let go of me and went to Momo and ran. Shin, what the hell are you doing? Tetsuya looks concerned at me. I'm going to beat the crap out of someone. Get to safety, I can handle myself and you know that. This is my one chance to get my legs in the least amount of time. I'm not letting it slip between my fingers because some piece of shit de-iced to mess up my plans. Shinichi-sensei. No talkbacks. I'll be joining you soon. I'm very angry right now, it's best if you aren't around me. I start crouching away from the gunfire. Spy flies, I always carry a bag full of these guys. Just in case. And that happens to be now. I need a full coverage of what's going on. So I can find the bastard that is ruining the chances of me getting Chen's blood. I should be getting the live feed soon. Just as soon as they get into position. Number. A few minutes earlier. Boom. Fiery. Gato's army starts firing at Chen, spreading panic and chaos. They destroyed the plans of the other teams, including Shinichi's plans. Delta. Kano yells out. On it, a giant steps out in front of the hail of bullets and slaps his hands together. Hexa barrier. Yelled out Delta. A yellow translucent barrier appeared made out of many small barriers in the shape of a hexagon. Most of them were around Chen and Delta. A few predicted the path of the bullets and protect the rest of the bodyguards. Bravo, Charlie with me. The rest get Mr. Chen to safety, Kano yelled out and dived straight at the army. He and the 2 other bodyguards started knocking out the grounds with extreme force. Different POVs and reactions. Team 1 Jihasaikai. Come on. Why us? Grunt 1. Shut up and get down, Hojo yells out so much that his white mask lifts up from the air. He breathes out. What do we do now? Grunt 2. We finish the job, Toya, Causally says, slicking his blonde hair and fixing his plague doctor mask. Team 2 the serpents. Rifles being fired. Motherfucker. Merc 1 cursed as he was lying down on the ground. What the hell? Who are those morons that are trying to massacre our walking blood bank? Merc 3. I know them. They are Gatto's men. Grab the binoculars, 10 o'clock. Black shirt, white hair, eye patch. He is Kaneki Ken. A psychopath, and the leader of Gatto's men. Merc leader. Great. What do we do now? They are going to kill him, and as far as I know, dead people don't have a pulse. Hey, can that pump work if he is dead? Merc 2. No, the pump goes in his heart and makes it beat faster. If he is dead it won't work. Merc 1. Fucking hell, leader, what now? Merc 5. We start killing them and the bodyguards. Kill anyone pointing a gun at Chen. Hell yeah. Merc 5 just started running and shooting at Gatto's men. Number. Team 3 amateurs. Hi, the crybaby was laying down on the ground, face covered with tears and snot. This wasn't part of the plan. He yelled out. What do we do now? Fuck it. We have no choice. If we don't do this we die anyway. Charge. Team 5 Assassin's Wolf Pack. Well, this is an interesting development, Assassin leader spoke with a humorous tone. I'll say. If they kill Chen, they would be doing our job for us. Assassin 2 looked in disbelief their luck. What are the odds of them actually killing Chen? Assassin 4. Pretty low I'd say, but just by causing all this chaos, they increased our chances by a lot. Assassin 1. Well, time to get to work. They are pulling Chen back to safety. This is as good a time as any to attack. The one who kills the target gets the bonus as usual. Move out. Assassin leader. Yes boss. Number. It seems more trouble has arrived than or backup, says Charlie. He had blonde hair and a small stature, but that didn't stop him from knocking out the grunts in the mini army. The short fighter took only one punch to the chin to accomplish this. No matter. We will do what we always do. Protect Mr. Chen. Anything else is inconsequential, says Kano while smashing two heads together. Ha ha ha, Kano, you know we can't take your words seriously when you have that creepy grin on your face. Bravo laughs out loud as he breaks someone's spine. Kano turned around and showed his allies his infamous grin. If this were to be seen by a normal person they would run away screaming psychopath. The corners of his mouth literally almost reached his ears. He showed off his white teeth, but the scariest thing was his eyes. They were filled with joy. The joy of being able to fight like this in a hail of bullets. The only time Kano Agito feels alive is when he can feel the Grim Reaper standing right beside him with his scythe on his neck. One stray bullet to the head is all it would take. But he loves the feeling, he seeks it out. He walks each day with death by his side. Fearless. Diving in what will most likely result in his death, just so he can feel the thrill. That's who Kano Agito is. A/N. What did you think of the chap? BTW with the guard thing, there is a technique in a way where you coat your nails with poison. Bodyguards are obviously trained against things like this, but who would expect that from someone you are being paid to protect? I think most people will shit themselves if a 13-year-old with a crazy look held a knife at their neck. Oh, and there is a good reason for his change in behavior and recklessness. So it wants just all sudden. It's explained later on. Kaneki Ken was the guy from Ghoul. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw a picture of him online. With the eye patch. Number, continuing the rant. Anyway, when I am not posting here I'm either asleep from exhaustion or writing on my Patreon. Ideally, I want to get most of my FICS to CH10. So the Patreons know what they are voting for. When MS ends, Patreons will decide the next FIC. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. Marvel MS, MHA code, DXD Rekaiba all CH10CH in advance. DBZ Regohan will be there soon. Well, all of the other ones will stay CH10 until it's their time to get published. Patreons will vote on which FIC will get its turn. I'm constantly working on the FICs. So it's not like I disappear. Like I said, either I'm in a coma or I'm writing. That's my life. If you guys want to read ahead or just sup, go to my Patreon. It does help me out. Discord.gg/6YYVM6TJ6T. Number, attackers. Team 1 Jihasaikai. Team 2 The Serpents. Team 3 Amateurs. Team 4 Gato exactly the same as Naruto. Team 5 Assassins Wolfpack, group from Assassination Class Rome. I got my idea from them. Chapter 55, Chaos 2. I had no net yesterday and the day before. Yet. This month is just getting better and better. Whatever net is back. Here is the chap. If you want to read ahead, go check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. Discord.gg/6YYVM6TJ6T. Number. Asterisk crash. Asterisk. I just keep on walking on the outside of the battlefield. NK.O.ing any stray mobs, and taking a drop of blood from each of them. I realize doing this is stupid. If I stayed with Momo's guards I would be perfectly safe. But the rational part of my brain isn't working right now due to the extreme rage that is rolling out of me. Some pathetic piece of shit decided to start a war with me right in the middle of it all. Even worse, they are ruining the chances for the other teams. Normally a chaotic situation like this is great. But that only works with small teams, not a fucking mini army. Now Chen's people know what to expect, plus the heroes are coming in fast. Only 3 minutes or so have passed since the shooting started. They just have to surround Chen and wait it out until backup arrives. When that happens, the chances of getting his blood are close to zero. And so is the fastest cure for my legs. I'm even more pissed off at myself. I have no idea what to do in a situation like this. My fighting powers are halved without my legs. Plus turning to Garu when heroes are 5 minutes away is a stupid move. Right now, the only thing I can hope to accomplish is to impress Chen, which might not even work. I'm showing off my marital skills and saving people by risking my life. I hope he likes heroes just like 80% of this world. So I can at least shake his hand when this is over. Not like I'm really risking my life. Even if I'm pissed off, my Quirk is still calculating the path of every bullet I see. Beep beep. Hey? Who the fuck is Gato? Quick Google search inside his head later. That fat fuck from Naruto is here. Son of a bitch decided to use my open contract as a chance to get his revenge. I'll gut him and strangle him with his own intestines. Boom. Now what? Number. Team 2 The Serpents. Hell yeah, say hello to my little friend. E starts shooting like a madman, calling Gato's men. B just facepalms and sighs. Why do we keep him around? Because he is insane and is the vanguard. If you want to go in first, be my guest, C says as he throws grenades. How are things looking with Chen? The leader A asks as he uses his Quirk serpent steel asterisk. Any weapon he touches can turn into a snake. If he touches a gun, the gun will turn into a snake and fire from its mouth and various angles. Same with a knife or a sword, it will turn into a snake, jump into attack, and on the impact it turns its head back to its original form. Right now he has 5 rifles that are turned into snakes shooting at the mobs and bodyguards. Not good leader. The bodyguards have him completely protected. He doesn't have a scratch on him. Says D, the designated sniper in the eyes of the team. Shit, I'm hit. Merc, behold his wounded shoulder. That just makes the rest of the serpents groan. Things are not going well for them. Number. Team 5 Assassins Wolfpack. Tisk. Boss. They have Chen pretty much boxed in. That barrier Quirk is a pain in the ass. Dos clicks his tongue while looking through the binoculars. Do the mobs even do anything to them? 4 grunts. Afraid not. As things stand right now, they aren't doing much. If it continued like this, then they would drain the bodyguards of their stamina. But since the police and heroes are on their way, they are pretty much useless. Dos continues to make short conversation while observing the bodyguards and Chin. The leader stood quietly, calculating their odds of success. And looking at the frown on his face, he isn't happy with their odds. I miscalculated, the leader Odin says gruffly. The fools didn't provide us with any advantage whatsoever. I had hoped they would injure at least 2 of the guards, but looking at them, that isn't going to happen. Instead, the chaos they are causing makes it harder for us to move, and he grinds his teeth. What do we do now? Trey asks solemnly. If they are a problem, we get rid of them. Ironically, most of the other forces are focused on the army themselves. If we join them, we should thin their numbers quite quickly. Then we move on to Chen. Everybody agrees with the plan. The leader questions with a stern voice, but smiles a bit when everybody just nodded silently. Good. Move out. Number. Team 1 Jihasaikai. Hojo Crystal Quirk. This isn't looking good. If things go on as they are right now, we won't be able to get the blood. Hojo, the tall bald giant, gruffly says. You are right. And the boss said that failure is not an option. So that means we get rid of the problem, Toya says while scratching his head, showing his irritation at their situation. That means that army has got to go. The other teams and Chen's bodyguards are already fighting them. But if we wait for them to weaken each other, the heroes will arrive by then, Hojo says while looking down at the battlefield from their location. So we start thinning the army a bit, and when about half of them are gone, we go for Chen. Toya simplifies things for their own men. He then looks at the army with a malicious grin. Well, Tabi. It's time to eat. Tabi, who was wearing a burlap sack over his face, suddenly bit the part of the mask where his mouth should be. He then looked at the people fighting and started drooling. Food. He tilted his head, much like a wild animal. Yes, Tabi, food. All of them are your food. Toya waved his hand at the army, adding a bit of flair to his movements. Food. Tabi jumped like an insane animal with his mouth spread open, showing his razor-sharp teeth. He then bit the neck of the first person he found and started devouring him. The mobs in the army started to panic as they see him eating one of their comrades with great fervor. To them, he looked like gluttony incarnated. A/N. Word count 1065. FK forgot to change the Merc/Assassin leader 1,2 to their names last chap. Sigh, what a pain. Asterisk, it's from the HXH manga. The original name is Biohazard. It was near the end of the manga. Or should I say where the manga stopped? BTW, I imagine to be acting like gluttony from FMA. Chapter 56, it's a. What the hell is going on? Gatto screamed as he was looking at the screen showing the fights on the battlefield. I don't know, sir. Other forces are attacking our men, the Russian bodyguard said with sweat on his face. Their men are getting slaughtered. What the hell is Kaneki doing? The white-haired one from Tokyo Ghoul. Gatto threw the wine glass he was holding at the wall. His veins started popping from the anger he was feeling. Sir, he appears to be in a stalemate with Kano Agito. And it looks like he is slowly losing. The only reason he is still standing is because of his quirk, the Russian answered. I don't care how you do it or who you have to pay. Fix it. Number. Damn, I did not see this one coming, I mutter to myself as I watch Gatto's army, or what's left of it anyway. Kano is fighting the leader of the army with that creepy grin on his face. From what I can gather, the white-haired man with the eye patch is Kaneki Ken. His quirk allows him to have 4 crimson-red tails, plus increased physical strength, which normally should put anyone at a disadvantage. But Kano somehow bats them aside without taking any damage. I was confused at first, but after seeing it for a while I noticed something with my quirk. Increased perception helps out a lot. None of the attacks actually reached Kano. They all stop 1 centimeter from his body as if they hit something there. So the only reasonable explanation is Kano has some sort of invisible energy that acts as armor around his body. But he also has increased physical strength, so it must boost his body as well. Asterisk. What I did not expect was 3 of the 8 bullets being here. Guess the Hasaikai are running low on cash. The one with the sack on his head keeps killing and eating everyone indiscriminately. Great, that's all we needed, a cannibal that can kill with 1 bite. The blonde skinny one was killing people by stealing their guns and shooting at them, while the tall bald one formed crystals all over his body and crushed them to death. Then there were 2 other teams that started calling the army. They were more organized and mostly sniped people from long distances. Gato's army has lost. Half of them are already dead. Most of the people in the army have weak quirks. There are some good ones, but not enough to change the tide of battle. Looks like the army leader is about to die. Number. Why won't you die? Kaneki screams out as his tails attack Kano. Because you are too weak to kill me, Kano calmly says as he hits away the tails. Fuck you. You bastard. Kaneki in his rage lashes at Kano like a madman. Kano bats away all 4 tails simultaneously and uses that opportunity to get close enough to Kaneki to place his fist right before his liver. Kaneki sees this and his face pales. Kano just grins and whispers dragon shot. A super close range 1-inch punch enhanced by his quirk and all the force he could generate. The result was devastating. Kaneki was left with a basketball-sized hole right where his liver was. Asshole! Thud! Kaneki fell to the ground before he could even finish. As soon as the remaining army saw their leader lying dead on the ground, they scattered in fear. Kano just slicked his hair back and went back to protect Chen. But suddenly many figures dashed towards Chen at the same time. Delta! Kano screamed out as he used his full strength to dash to Chen. I know! Delta yelled as he slapped his hands together. Barrier barrage. Delta started to slap the air like a sumo wrestler, sending orange barrier walls at the attackers. Most of them missed and the attackers are only 50 meters away from Chen. Who the hell are you for? Yells out the people dressed in camo gear. That's what I want to know. C yells back. They are the other teams, you idiots. The assassin/merc leader sneer at the same time, then look at each other in surprise, but they don't slow down at all. Any time now, Delta Bravo says calmly. Some pros they are. To fall for a trap this obvious, Delta smirks. He slams his palms together, then quickly slams them back in the ground. At first, nothing happened, then the ground started shaking. A dark green box-shaped barrier surrounded Chen while a blood-red barrier started raising from the ground 100 meters away from him, cutting off the escape route of the attackers. The 4 barriers' walls stopped and the ceiling started forming, completely trapping them. Hello little mice, Delta smiles coldly. Mice? We are the serpents, B says. Shut up you fool. The merc leader A smacks him on the head. Shit, we are trapped, Tojo yells out. Well, that worked very well. Wouldn't you say? Kano comes up from behind, with other bodyguards moving around. Chen was safe inside the green barriers, so they can finally fight now. Indeed. I honestly didn't expect it to work out so well, Echo chuckles. How long were you planning this? This time the assassin leader Odin spoke up. His words made all the bodyguards chuckle. How long? You misunderstood. This is one of our formations. We didn't design it specifically for you. You were just stupid enough to attack us in the first place. Now surrender peacefully and you might live once this is all over. Bravo explains to them in a mocking tone. Ha! Surrender? Aren't you underestimating us a little too much? We still outnumber you, B says while acting like a delinquent. Whether it's real or just to throw them off nobody knows. No, I think we have a pretty good grasp on you people. A team of assassins, minus one of their members, the sniper will be joining you soon. The police have probably set a barricade around our position. Charlie says as he looks towards the last known position of the sniper. Then there are the mercenaries, you called yourselves the serpents and act like you are someone great. But in reality, you are barely B rank, so you are no threat to us at all. Delta mocks them even more. And finally the Yakuza or the remains of one anyway. You are even less of a problem. Any one of us can beat you down in less than 3 minutes, so yes, we are not the ones underestimating you. You are the ones underestimating us. And you will pay for it. Some with their limbs, some with their lives. I wish you good luck, gentlemen. As soon as Echo stopped talking, the bodyguards rushed at the attackers. A/N. It's a trap. The title is up for debate. If you have a better idea, feel free to write it down in the comments. Asterisk something like aura/nan form HXH. MC's behavior explained in later chapters. Chapter 57, Battle Royal. Yes, sorry for the late updates. I have been feeling weak the last few days. Today was a lot worse. I actually thought I was gonna pass out for a moment XD. Just a cold. But instead of the coughs, I get headaches and muscle soreness. Battle Royal isn't a good title. Since it's a team battle, not every man for himself. Any ideas for a title? Oh, and since it's a new month. If you wanna read 10ch ahead, this is the best time to become a patron. I have been writing ch for the other FICS as well. So if you want, go check it out. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. Word count 1013. Number. Well, that cooled my head down real quick. Nothing like seeing an army get massacred in front of you to snap you back to reality. What the hell was I thinking? There is no way my normal self would do something so insanely stupid. Did someone use a quirk on me? That would make sense. Even if most of the mob army had some weak-ass quirks that gave them weird features or body parts. It's not a far stretch that they have someone that can influence emotions. I was angry that someone messed with my plans, sure. But to actually separate from my group and go on my own when I am severely weakened. That's suicidal. Now I have to worry about some mystery man with the ability to influence emotions. He would have had to be near me. I don't know why I was the only one influenced. Someone else might have been the target, like Momo for example, but I was the one hit. Well, at least I know he can only influence one person at a time. I need to get back to them. Now that I got myself back to normal. He might be able to use his quirk again. But damn, this ended fast. It has only been about 10 to 15 minutes since they started shooting and it's already over for Gato's men. After the army scattered, I saw a couple of shadows rushing towards Chen. But it all turned out to be a trap, as one of the bodyguards erected barriers behind them, effectively boxing them in. Now all of them are preparing for a battle royal. Shihasaikai, Yakuza. The Serpent's mercenaries. The Wolf Pack assassins. Bodyguards. He doesn't know their names, but can guess their occupation because of their outfits. Well, at least it will be entertaining to watch. Number Battle Royal. Inside the blood-red barrier. The attackers spread out completely, surrounding the bodyguards except for a few people who moved towards Kano, who was coming from behind them. Well, isn't this lovely? A bunch of men trapped in a box. Just so you know, if you are planning an orgy, out of here. It looked like B tried to lighten up the mood, when in reality he was looking for a clear shot at any one of the bodyguards. Shut up and focus, you imbecile, one of the assassins spat. They were all wearing the same clothes and all had voice changers. Delta starts loosening up his shoulders. Well, now that they are trapped, this should be over pretty quickly. He then makes a purple barrier, but unlike the rest, these were thin and shaped like small rectangles. Let's see how you handle these. Delta threw his hands forward and the triangles shot out like projectiles. Just like before, the attackers started dodging except for Hojo, who blocked them with his crystallization quirk. What? How? Hojo's shout turned their attention towards him. All of them noticed something that shouldn't have happened. The purple barriers lodged themselves inside the crystals, showing their amazing sharpness. Tisk, this turned even more troublesome, Tojo grumbled, blonde Yakuza. Ha 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 ha, look at them dancing like monkeys, one of the bodyguards mockingly laughs, which resulted in a few tick marks on the attackers' foreheads, but none of them said anything. One mistake could cost them their lives. All of the attackers except the ones that were fighting Kano, were hiding, blocking, dodging and shooting. It was even more chaotic than when the shooting started, since all of them were trapped inside a box. Number, I don't like this part. It feels off. I will be changing it somehow. Ironically, every member of the mercenary squad had a snake-related quirk. The leader could make weapons into snakes. He could turn his arms into snakes to attack like a whip and bite them to inject poison. Another one had durable snake scales, summon snakes, etc. Guess they have a reason to call themselves the serpents. The wolf pack, on the other hand, has quirks that are helpful in the assassination. The leader's quirk Shadow lets him cloak himself in darkness and uses shadows to attack, Shikamaru. The others have totally different abilities. Dos has an ability similar to a hotbar from games. He has 10 weapons in his inventory, which he can switch instantly. A knife can change into a sword, spear, or gun, letting him have the element of surprise. 4's Quirk lets him use short bursts of speed, which again is handy for an assassin. The next one can shoot out the poison from his fingertips. The range isn't big, so he uses it point blank or just coats his weapons with it. Compared to the mercenaries, the assassins have a wider range of quirks. And yet it that inst very helpful at the moment. Hey tall and shiny, how about we switch opponents? C yells out to Tojo. Tojo looks at Delta, then at Kano. You got yourself a deal. Oh no you don't, Bravo yells out and points his hands at them right as they were about to pass each other. Fire erupted from his hands and engulfed both of them. What the fuck? He can shoot out fire. Why didn't he use it on us before? Bravo just smiles at him because I wanted to conserve stamina, dumbass. Delta injures our opponents while the rest finish them off. And what kind of idiot would actually give away information to the enemy? But contrary to what everybody was expecting, an angry voice was heard from within the smoke. You son of a bitch, how dare you use me like a shield? Hojo takes a big swing and that clears up all the smoke as a result. They are unharmed except for some of Hojo's clothes being burned off. You are made of crystal, you idiot. It will take a lot more than that to melt you. C leaves the area to get a better position. Bravo resisted the urge to smack himself right, my bad. I should have avoided the crystal giant. I didn't think he would react in time. Well, doesn't matter. Kano can take them either way. Now, what to do? Chapter 58, Battle Royale 2. Word count 1034. Fucking hell, this is annoying. I actually had to draw this in paint. A battlefield rough sketch. If I ever try to do something like this again, shoot me. Too lazy to think of a better title. I do read the comments. If you want to read again, go check out the Patreon. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. Number. Inside the blood-red barrier, things were starting to get interesting. In the beginning, the attackers had the bodyguards surrounded with Chen and Delta at the center. The sole exception was Kano, who was behind the attackers from the west side. But due to Kano, Bravo and Delta's interference, the battlefield was split so they could focus on these people. On the attackers' side were Shihasaikai, Yakuza with 3 people, Hojo, Tojo, Tabi. The Serpent's mercenaries with 5 people, ABCDE. The wolf pack assassins with 6 people, one of which was the sniper who was outside the barrier. Odin Dos Tray 456. A/N. These are the OG names from Generator Rex. I don't like how 3 of them are in English. So a total of 13 attackers with varying abilities and roles. From the defending side was Chen the target, who was boxed in a green protective barrier. The leader of the bodyguards Kano Agito the Alpha, then Bravo, Charlie/Char, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot/Fox. 6 of them make up Chen's elite team. Number. Zone 1 Kano vs Hojo, B, Trey. Kano looks at the 3 people surrounding him. They had him in a triangle formation. Kano just sneered. Are you sure that the 3 of you are enough? How about you call some of your friends to come join you? Then you might actually stand a chance. Trey laughed coldly. Ha! Do you really think we would fall for that? You are slipping, Fang. If more of them come here, all you have to do is focus on defense and stall us. But with the 3 of us stalling you, the rest can focus on dealing with the fat fuck. Merc 2, B, which one? Chen or the bodyguard, Delta? Now that you mention it. Delta, despite being big, has a large belly. Both of them fit the part. Trey, how about we just off both of them? Problem solved. Merc 2, B, both is good. When in doubt, do both. Sweet, I have been waiting to use that one for a long time. Trey, been a long time since I have seen somebody try to use memes on the battlefield. I love idiots like you, they are so easy to kill. Hojo stays quiet while his temporary teammates waste time. He is standing in front of Kano. If he loses focus, Kano will KO him before he can blink. B and Trey continue to argue, but their eyes never left Kano and their weapons were ready. Suddenly Kano started chuckling. Arrogant fools. Do you think you are the first ones to try this on us? Your end will be just like all those who have come before you. Dead on the ground with a face filled with regret. After which your corpses will be used as fertilizer or feed for animals. B clenched his teeth. Enough, we need to start tiring him out. If you see an opening, it's most likely a trap, so don't fall for it, just keep chipping at his defenses. As strong as his armor is, cracks are bound to show up if he continues to take damage. Agreed. The fight in Zone 1 starts. Number. Zone 2. Delta and Bravo vs A, Odin, Toya, 4, D, Charlie is stuck between Zone 2 and 3. Figures we get the leaders, says Bravo while looking at A and Odin. Well, we are the 2 most senior bodyguards after Kano, says Delta as he prepares for another barrage of purple barriers. Go! A and Odin yelled out. Number. Zone 3. Echo and Fox vs C, Dos, E, 5, to B. Why do we get the crazy one? He is wearing a burlap sack, for God's sake, Fox grumbles. Don't know, but looks like they are on the move. Stall until the cops and heroes arrive. Charlie gives support when you can. Echo says calmly, his eyes focused on the enemies. Got it, just my luck to do this. Delta would have been a much better choice for this position. But it's not like they are going to let us change places, Charlie says jokingly with sweat dripping down his face. He is splitting his attention between 2 zones. And neither has attacked yet. Until now. Go! The shout from their leaders made all attackers move, Toya and to be followed after them. Number. The fights finally started. It was a race against time. Will the attackers complete their goal, or will the bodyguards stall long enough for help to arrive? An attack at a festival like this will ensure a Quirk response from the heroes. Not much time has passed since the shooting happened. The only thought on everyone's mind was just a few more minutes. The only one who was without worry was Chin. He was playing with his mustache and watching the fight with great interest. Zone 2. A and Odin took charge at Delta and Bravo. Both of them tried to slow them down with barriers and flames respectively, but only to hit the air. The attackers were determined to finish this quickly. Even when dashing straight like this was extremely dangerous. Toya stayed behind them with his gun ready. His quirk allows him to steal things that other people hold or have on them. But since the bodyguards don't particularly have anything important, he is pretty useless. 6 uses his speed burst to go straight for Charlie. D stares directly at Charlie and uses his quirk snake eyes. He can stiffen the muscles of the target, making a perfect chance for his teammates to take. But Bravo was quick to see Charlie stiffen up, so he sent a torrent of flames right before 4 arrived, making him stop his advance. But before Charlie could even turn his attention back to the leaders, Odin attacked him with shadow spikes coming out from the ground. Charlie dodged most of them, but he was still hit. Fuck. The mercenary leader attacked with his quirk. There were dozens of snake weapons firing on the fallen bodyguard. Delta quickly intervened to save him. But that choice was proved to be wrong, when all of a sudden a venomous snake bit him on the ankle when he was distracted. Chapter 59, Battle Royale 3. Sorry for the slow updates. I have been working on the other FIC on my Patreon as well. Go check it out if you are interested. List at the end of the chap. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. Word count 1500. Number. Delta looked down to see 2 venomous snakes biting on his shins. Shit. He quickly knelt down, grabbed the snakes by the necks and squeezed right below their jaws. His grip forced them to open their jaws and killed them a second after. But it was already too late. The snakes did their part and injected poison in him. I got him. He will be down in 1 minute, yelled out C, the one who summoned the snakes. The poison won't kill him immediately, but it is enough to take him out of the fight. Bastards. What a cheap shot. Delta yelled out, already feeling the venom coursing through his body. I'm doing one last attack. Protect the boss, the heroes should be here soon. Barrier barrage. Delta threw a lot of random attacks but mostly focused them on Zone 1 before he collapsed on the ground. The red and green barriers shook but still remained active, barely at that. Their strong bright color was dulled a lot, since Kano was pinned down by B, Hojo, and Trey. Their backs were turned to him. But they aren't amateurs. A part of them always focused on the bodyguards behind them. Even if the others were intervening, there is always a possibility an attack will go through. Like this one. The other attackers tried to stop as many of the barriers by shooting them down. These were more fragile, but they were greater in numbers. B, Hojo, and Trey dodged most of them, but a few hit them in non-fatal spots. Normally this kind of wound would be nothing. But they are fighting against Kano. He won't let an opportunity like this go by. Kano started attacking faster than he's ever been. He focused his attacks on their cuts. And when they tried to defend those places, he sticked his position in mid-strike and tried to land a fatal hit in another place. His merciless strikes kept pushing their formation apart. The others, seeing as Kano was about to break free at any minute, increased their efforts. They shot at them, continued to use their quirks to form an opening. Charlie, who was still bleeding from Odin's shadow spikes, was slowly moving towards the fallen Delta. Bravo, who was in between them, immediately knew Charlie's plan. He stepped ahead so Char can pass behind him. But by doing so he had the whole Zone 2 focused on him, with Charlie just acting as support. I wanted to keep this a secret, but fuck it. The heroes are almost here. Charlie reached Delta and knelt down. Doctor's touch. Self-healing. The bleeding wounds on Charlie started to close. But before they closed completely, he cancelled his quirk. This should be enough to survive. I will still need my energy for this. He mumbled under his breath and put both hands on Delta. Selfless act. Equivalent exchange. The wounds on Delta started closing and color returned to his face. But Charlie paled rapidly and wounds suddenly appeared on his body in the exact places where Delta had them. Charlie collapsed a second later. Crash. The barriers that were holding them in and protecting Chin broke. Seeing this, Kano went all out and broke free. He dashed straight for Chin. But the attackers weren't about to let their biggest opportunity get away. Delta and Charlie are on the ground and the barriers are down. 6. The sniper who was outside the barrier started shooting at Chen. He was useless through the battle, but not what the barrier is down. He immediately went for the kill. Asterisk bang. Bang. Bang asterisk. 3 shots were fired at Chin. Head, heart and liver, all with pinpoint accuracy. Just when everyone thought it was over. You guys need more training. Chin's voice was heard by everyone. Asterisk tack. 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 The man caught all 3 bullets with his right hand. Everybody on the attacking side had their jaws dropped. What? I track the desert and swim in the ocean as a hobby while waiting more than 1 tone. Do you think a bullet is gonna stop me? Naive. Chin scoffed at them. Whoosh. 4 appeared in front of Chin with his daggers drawn and his skin all red. Take this, you fatso. 4 roared. Nope. Chin jumped backward, avoiding some more bullets while Fox started shooting at 4. 5 and he dashed towards Chin. Both are seemingly suicidal as they let Echo's sound attacks hit them. 5 had blades all over his body while E's snake arms were near Chin. Suddenly the snake arms started to split into sections as blades came out of them. Hey, both yelled out as they gave it their all. Dingag scrrrrrrr. A green barrier appeared between them and stopped them dead in their tracks. Right in front of Chin. HAAA. Hey. Fuck, that was close. Delta was lying on the ground with his hand stretched out pointed at Chin. But the suicide attack wasn't all for nothing. One of 5's blades pierced the barrier as it was being made. There is a cut on Chin's cheek. Chin just touched his wound and looked at his bloody finger. Hoo. I can't remember the last time I was injured. Not bad, you brats. Crack K. Before anyone could react, 5 and 4 were sent flying by a furious Kano. Both had some of their bones broken. How dare you lay a finger on the master? Kano snarled like an animal. Fuck. 5 stood up shakily, the blades that were on his body started falling apart. Kano's hit was too strong and it was when his guard was down. Now! The mercenary leader yelled out. Stab, stab, stab! Everyone turned around to see one of E's arms surrounding and stabbing 5. 5 screamed out in pain. Sorry, buddy. But count yourself unlucky. If you didn't cut him and hadn't gotten some blood on that little blade of yours, this wouldn't have happened to you, he said as he dragged 5 to him and collected and stored the blood. He even used cotton to get the remaining blood on the blade. You motherfuckers! Odin shouted furiously as he attacked A who was nearby. Ha! Like you weren't planning to do the same. A mocked him, then looked at Chin and gave a finger salute. Everybody retreat. Kill them. Odin used his shadow quirk on the mercenaries. Number 1044. TAB. Get that bastard. Get the blood. Hojo yelled out as he went toward Toya instead of going towards E. This is for 5, you motherfucker. Dose took out a freaking rocket launcher out of his hotbar and shot at E. You crazy bitch. E, seeing no way of dodging it, decided to sacrifice one of his arms. He extended it and hit the rocket. He would lose the arm, but his life is worth more. Boom! Chaos spread everywhere. Assassins vs mercenaries. The bodyguards were surprised at this turn of events. They surrounded Chin again and Delta put some barriers up again. Each looked down in shame. Their master had been injured. The first injury in years. Kano knelt down on one knee. Master! We have failed you. We will accept any punishment for this. I'm prepared to lay down my life for my mistake. They were his elite guard, by his side for years. Most of them were trained from a young age to be Chin's bodyguards. Chin smacked Kano on the head. You stupid idiot. I get one scratch and you want to commit a seppuku. Plus I didn't allow you to die. This just proved that you need to get better. Chin smiled, but his eyes were shining with an evil gleam. I think climbing Mount Everest in summer clothes ought to do the trick. The bodyguards looked like somebody punched them in the guts. Oh, and we swimming to Shanghai and going to Everest on foot. Seeing their expressions made Chin laugh. Then he looked at Foxtrot. Charlie, you alive? Delta kicked the fallen bodyguard lightly. Groan, no. That's what you get for being stupid. If you didn't get hit so many times, you wouldn't have had to spend energy on healing yourself. You could have taken Delta's injuries then healed yourself. Chin criticized his actions. Get some sleep. The heroes will be here soon, Delta said tiredly. Charlie raised his hand, did a thumbs up before letting his hand fall back down. Fox. Yes, master. The bodyguard in question had a resigned expression on his face, as he knelt down. Ready for the bad news. Seeing his expression, Chin's face softened. Silly child. I'm not sending you away. I want to tell you that you have performed excellently. I have been paying attention to everything. You go above and beyond on each of your tasks. Even without a quirk. You succeeded where others have failed. That's why you are here. So don't doubt yourself. Just continue following me like you always have. Tears started falling from Fox's face. Yes. Number. MHA code and MS up to 10 ch constantly updated. Dash. These will go up to ch10. When MS finishes, which should be in like 30 to 40 chaps, one of these will go next. Hoping for the Kaiba one. It will be a short FIC with about 50 chaps. Give or take. That's a fun one to write. DXD, Rekaiba 10ch. DBZ, Regohan 10ch. Below 10ch. DXD, Magneto. HP, Muggle Mafia / Wizarding Mafia, title undecided. DC, YJ Superboy. DXD, Gamer. MHA, Killua's Revenge. There are more. But not a lot of chapters and won't be updated until the ones above reach ch10. So I'm juggling a few FICs. Is this smart? No. Then why am I doing this? Because it's fun. And my brain won't rest until I sit down and write it out. DBZ Gohan, I wrote 4ch at once. It was on my mind for 4 days and I was going crazy. So I sat down and wrote the idea in my head. BTW, it's been a rough week. I'm working on Saturday as well. All of us are. Since Easter is next week and it's a holiday. They are pumping all of that work in this week. To make up for those lost days. Yet. Not a good week for me. Chapter 60, Battle Royale 4. If you want to read up to 10 ch ahead, go check out my Patreon. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra space. Number. Crack. Ah. Please stop. A small fat person was lying down in pain. Standing above him was a teenager with black jeans and a black t-shirt. Looking down on him with a cold expression. Why did you use your quirk on us? His voice made the fat man soil himself. It was like death speaking to him. We got information that the Yaeorozu heiress was coming with some friends. My quirk confusion makes the target forgetful and more prone to make reckless decisions. The plan was to separate the group one by one. Before kidnapping her. But then the shooting started and we were forced to improvise. That's what I all know, I swear. Snot and tears were dripping down his face. Who sent you? I don't know. Crack. Ah. The human skeleton has 206 bones. I suggest you start telling the truth. Unless you want me to break each and every one of them. I see can T. They'll kill me. Crack. They are the least of your worries. I will slowly torture you, then I will kill you in the most painful way possible. If you don't tell me who sent you. Jin. He called himself Jin. He started to cry even harder. The teen froze for a second. Describe him. His voice turned even colder, which the fat man thought was impossible. He was very tall. Long silver hair going to his hips. He was dressed all in black. Long black trench coat with the collar up covering his face and a black fedora. He was also smoking. Please. Please, I have told you everything I know. Please let me go. You targeted my group. You brought this upon yourself. The teen brought his hand to the fat man's throat. No. No. Schrp. A large part of his throat was ripped out. Gurgle. The man grabbed his throat and started to choke. Thud, he fell down on the ally. A pool of blood was slowly starting to form beneath him. Fuck, the teenager cleaned all traces of him on the crime scene and left. Number, back to the battlefield. Boom. Crash. Bang bang bang. Pure chaos. That was the current situation on the battlefield. The assassins were furiously chasing the mercenaries. Six was shooting at them from the distance, keeping them from leaving. It didn't help that the bodyguards were pissed off as well. Delta opened small holes and let Fox expertly shoot at the mercenaries. The rest of the bodyguards shot their guns as well, hoping to slow them down enough so the assassins can catch them and they kill each other off. Damn it, the one who took the blood from 5 by literally stabbing him in the back was under constant pressure. Chomp to be came out of nowhere and tried to take off E's arm. Whoa! E dodged away by the skin of his teeth. Damn you, Yakuza! Get your own blood sample, you greedy fucks, E screamed out while dodging bullets left and right. Must get blood. Must eat. Let Tabi bite you. Tabi said as drool dropped from his mouth. He jumped and tried to bite E again, gluttony FMA vibes. A loud scream was heard. Everybody turned to see B on the ground. His body was full of holes and blood was dripping out of them, even with his dragon scales activated. Above him Trey was standing with poison dripping out. That's for 5, you slimy snakes, he spat on B's body. The tension increased even more but was interrupted by Toya from Hasaikai. Hojo now! Hojo, the bald giant, grabbed Toya and threw him in the air. Everybody was stunned by the insane move. If you aren't capable of flight, then jumping that high was suicide. Anybody could attack and kill him. And the bodyguards were just about to do that, but were stopped by his actions. Toya, while in the air, pointed his arm at E and yelled out, "Come to Papa!" The blood sample flew out of E's hand at high speed straight into Toya's hand. You motherfucker! E screamed out in anger. Tab! Hojo! We are out of here! Toya ran off into the distance. Get them! A snarled in anger and started making more weaponized snakes to fire at them. Odin, the assassin leader, looked at this and made a decision: everyone retreat. 4 grab 5. We will get the bastards another day. Right now we need to take him to a doctor. The rest of the assassins looked like they were about to argue, but then, they remembered 5's condition and that the heroes are closing in. So they did as they were told. At the same time with the bodyguards. HOH. Guess they have a brain after all, Chin said as he played with his mustache. Cowards all of them, Echo spat. Well, they are the scum of the underworld. I'm still pissed I got taken out so easily. Delta was sitting cross-legged, focused on maintaining the barrier. Fox, can you shoot any of them now? Kano asked softly, his eyes never leaving the enemy. The only quirkless member of the team looked at the receding figures before sighing and shaking his head. They are too on guard for me to take them down. It would be a waste of bullets. They have long passed the 200M mark. As you know, pistols are best used within the 100M range. Guess I will have to carry a rifle from now on. Nobody has ever broken through Delta's barriers before, so I never needed a rifle before. Thanks for rubbing it in, Fox, Delta grumbled. Sorry, Fox lowered his head in apology. We all need to improve. This fight taught us a valuable lesson. We are still not strong enough. As soon as we get patched up, I'm tripling the intensity of our usual training, Kano said seriously. The rest groaned a bit. Chin smirked. Classic Kano. They are not even fully healed and he already wants them to start training. Ah! To think things will get even more heated up. I already feel decades younger. I will need to think of harsher places to visit. The boys could use the training. There are fun times ahead that I am sure of it. Chin chuckled at his thoughts. Number. The assassins quickly grouped up and looked at the fleeing figures. Run and hide, bitches. We will be coming to pay you back for what you have done. Dos yelled out at them. Suck it, you ninja bastards. I will get revenge for D screamed out as they were chasing after the Yakuza trio. All of a sudden a loud whistling sound was heard above them. Then, boom! A figure crashed in front of them. The landing created a huge dust cloud. You won't be going anywhere. Because I am here. Number. Word count 1140. I imagine the fat man like Peter Pettigrew. Opinions on the chapter? This whole arc is messed up. It looks like random things slapped together. A first for me as well. But it was a learning experience. I will probably revisit this once I'm a bit better as an author and fix it up. Chapter 61, Kakaku. Sorry for the late update. I didn't write yesterday at all. And before that, believe it or not, I spent like a week writing ch70. In the end, it turned out 2,300 words. Longest ch so far. I think it turned out okay. Okay-ish. Just wait until it's released and then yell at me. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. Number. I am here. All Might. Shit. What is he doing here? While everybody from the attacker's side was panicking, Chin just scoffed. Took you long enough, brat. It's been like 30 minutes since the shooting started. Japanese police are so slow to react. All Might awkwardly laughed. Haha. Sorry about that, old man. The police and other heroes were taking care of the hired guns hired by Gato. They also just finished evacuating the last civilian. This place is surrounded and heroes can finally act without worrying about casualties. I'm sorry it took this long, but you have your own elite guard while they didn't. Well, are you going to stand there daydreaming or are you going to do your job? Chin taunted All Might. Of course. Now, according to our information, some of you are the Serpents, a gang of mercenaries. The 3 that are running away are Yakuza. And the rest some assassin group. Surrender and you won't be harmed. All Might stares them down, pining them in place. The mercenaries froze and didn't know what to do. The assassin leader laughed. He was holding his stomach and laughed like a madman. Is there something funny? All Might asked in an indifferent tone. Yes. The fact that you think we are trapped, big guy. Shadow Wakoden slammed his hands at the ground. Shadows rose and engulfed the 6 assassins. Shit! All Might cursed as he watched them disappear. Wah! The others were dumbfounded as they watched the assassins escape. Texas Smash! All Might wasted no time punching the air in front of him. The wind pressure knocked down both the mercs and the Yakuza. All Might sighed and touched his earpiece. This is All Might. One of the assassins had the ability to manipulate shadows. He just teleported away with 5 other members. Roger that, All Might. The perimeter will be increased. They have been fighting for a while, so they should be pretty exhausted. They couldn't have traveled far. One of their members is seriously injured as well. We will find them. Thank you. The others and the police can come here. The targets are down. All Might said in a professional tone. As soon as the call finished, he started walking towards Chin and the bodyguards. Delta lowered his barriers and just sat on the ground. Now that All Might is here, they can relax a bit. Delta and Char are the 2 that are the most injured. Even though Charlie healed Delta, it was more of a quick fix. I wanted to apologize again for making you wait that long. But civilians were in danger and you looked like you had everything in control. Some of the men from Gato's army spread out and started to run away. It got messy as they grabbed a few people as hostages. That's why it took us so long even though we arrived about 10 minutes since it started. Once again my deepest apologies. All Might said sincerely. This was the most he could do. As the number one, he cannot bow just to anyone. It would send the wrong message. Chin just rubbed his temples understanding the situation. But that does mean he likes it. He is a VIP, but at the end of the day, this isn't his country and his relationship with Japan isn't really the best. So of course they will prioritize their citizens. But they have been waiting for 20 minutes. At least they could have taken out the sniper and surrounded the barrier. Delta would have opened up entrances for them. Fucking politics. The leaders of this country are greedy bastards. They forbid heroes to kill so they can sell the tapes of the hero vs villain fight. Their heroes die so they can make more money. Disgusting. Fine. My men are tired and injured. They are in need of medical attention. Shin stares at the number one. Of course. There are paramedics already here. Please come with me, All Might said and started leading them to get checked. Master. Please go first. We don't know if they used poison on those blades of his. Kano pleaded with Chin. Knowing how he could get when he is stubborn. Chin wanted to complain but just signed and went along. The faster they finish, the faster they can leave. A few minutes of walking away from the battle site. They are greeted with flashes on their faces. The media was all ready. They were being held back by the police and heroes. Chin cursed under his breath. His bodyguards, well, everyone except Delta and Charlie were in front of him. They and the police quickly opened a path to the paramedics. Hello there. Quickly get inside the cars so we can get you checked up, one of the nurses said. One of us must accompany Master at all times. Kano stepped in front of the nurse. The nurse just smiled sweetly at him. Of course. There is no problem with that. The doctors will be helping your friend. Since Mr. Chin has no other wounds on him except for the scratch on his cheek. Fox went in with Chin. Kano wanted to go but he was injured. Not by a lot, just some bruises. He overused his quirk. So when he was fighting it was weaker in some areas of his body than others. This will only take a moment, sir. I will take some blood to test now. And some to send to our lab to see if anything is wrong. This will of course be given to them by All Might himself as he volunteered for the job. We are still stumped on why they wanted your blood in the first place. The nurse took out the needed tools. Yes. Yes, just get on with it. I haven't eaten in 30 minutes and I'm quite famished. So if you could just hurry up, Chin said impatiently. The nurse took a few swabs from the wound and it tested negative for poison, much to the relief of Fox. She then took a blood sample and turned around to get a metal box. She put the sample in and locked the box. You are free to go, Mr. Chin. You can give this box to All Might yourself if you wish. She gently gave the box to him. Thank you. We will be leaving to check on the others. Fox stepped in and took the box for him. They quickly left the ambulance car. The nurse took out her phone and wrote a quick message. Number. And I can't believe how reckless you are, Shinichi-kun. You could have gotten killed. Nag. Asterisk BZZZ. BZZZ asterisk. Wait a moment please, I say to the annoying police officer. Just because you are a woman does mean you are my mother. Geez. I opened up my phone to check the message. I got the sample. Wire the money and I'll leave it at the arranged location. Bingo. I'm sorry but my parents are calling. I must take this call. I leave the woman before she can say anything. And I used my quick while pretending to be talking to someone. All spy mosquitoes with blood samples returned to warehouse B. Like I would just let perfectly good quirks go away. With all the blood that has been spilled tonight. I got some good stuff. All according to plan. Number. Word count 1242. Comment. 14 comments. Vote. Chapter 62, Chapter 62. If you want to read ahead, go check out the Pat. There are also other FICS on there. Though I would recommend you start on the 1st of next month. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. Number. Now how do I guarantee success? I can't do it myself. It's stupid and risky. My power is halved. And even if it wasn't, the chance of failure is too high. The goal is his blood. Even a scratch is enough. I will post an open contract with a high bounty. Different amounts of money depending on the amount of blood and in which form they return it. They will get paid more if it's in a bottle, and it isn't contaminated. But there is always a chance the police and heroes arrive before they get the blood. So I need another option. I will send my new spy misquotes. Specifically designed for this. I doubt they will be able to take Chin's blood. There are a lot of quirks in this world. It wouldn't come to a surprise if they have a plan against insects. But I should be able to get a lot of different blood samples from all the blood that is about to be spilled. The bodyguards are strong. They can probably take out most of the attackers before they lose stamina. That will be ideal, but first plans never work out. Let's say all of the attackers die. What then? The bodyguards are bound to have some injuries and they will need to get them checked. Paramedics. There will be paramedics on the scene. There will definitely be poison users amongst the attackers. So they will need to be checked for that. It's a common procedure to get a swab of the wound to see if 3 is poison in it. Then to get a blood sample to the lab for further testing. I need files on the emergency staff. 1 hour later. I searched through all the staff that will be on duty on the day of the festival. There is a nurse that is currently in a bad situation. Her family is in debt and are looking for a way to pay it off. She's perfect. One creepy phone call later with my voice all distorted. Did it by the book. How to convince someone to do a crime with a creepy distorted voice. Worked like a charm. Well, it was written by yours truly. I hacked her phone and the GPS put her in a park. I hacked the camera and called her. A creepy ass voice calls you. He knows your name. He knows where you are. And he knows where you live. She was freaking out at first. But I told her bad things would happen if she didn't calm down. I mentioned her family's debt. And if she does a job for me, the debt would disappear. When she learned all she had to do was get some blood from an old man, she jumped at the opportunity. If all of this didn't work, I will just have to shake the man's hand and take some blood through skin contact. I will make mosquito stingers on my hand before I shake his. He will feel a prick. But I can make some calluses on my hand before that to explain it. Sometimes when calluses dry up they become pointy. Just enough to feel a slight prick. As a martial artist, it's expected of me to have them. I really hope this works. Number present time. I can't believe it worked. The asshole messing with my head with his quirk wasn't planned. But everything worked out in the end. I got Chen's blood. I got blood samples from almost every person spilled on the battlefield. Made hundreds of spy misquotes. They got some from corpses. And then moved on. When they found multiple small blood puddles, they just take a sample from each. Since they can't be sure whose it is. Whose or whose. Now, I'm absorbing the blood one by one. And matching it to the police database. I get the person's file, read it and make a copy in my head. I just got a buttload of quirks. And probably the most useful of all is Charlie's healing quirk. My little spies saw everything. He can heal himself and others. That's a great quirk and will be very useful once I start regrowing my legs. The other useful quirk is Tabby's. That burlap sack wearing freak has a useful quirk. Well, useful to me. He can bite and eat almost anything. I assume his metabolism is off the charts. He quickly digests anything he eats. That's probably why he is always hungry. Which works in my favor. Since I turn all that food into energy and then store it in my cells. So first I will get to B's quirk. I can increase the speed by spending more energy on the simulation process. Once I have his quirk, I can just eat faster, which means I get energy faster, so I will be able to get Chin and Charlie's quirks fairly quickly. A lot faster than I would have gotten them normally. I'll just raid a few warehouses and eat everything in them. That should top me up pretty quickly. Things are looking good. Maybe I'm finally starting to get lucky. That or this is just the calm before the storm and I get really unlucky. You never really know. Anyway, I need to finish things up with the police so I can go home. The kids are pretty shaken up by the shooting. Which is totally normal. A lot of people died as well. This will give them nightmares for a week. When I rejoined the group, Momo and Ran were hugging and trying to calm down their shaking. As soon as they saw me, Momo and Ran latched onto me and the shaking stopped. I'm neither stupid nor blind. The girls obviously like me. But until they actually mature. And I'm talking as a person, not just their bodies. There won't be anything between us. Teens are moody, self-centered, and arrogant. They don't know anything about the real world and just live in their little fantasy. There are always exceptions. But I really don't want to waste my time on needy teenagers. But my actions might change the course of their growth, so who knows? I'll just keep living my life to the fullest and make those decisions when the time comes. But until then, it's party time. I got my ticket to get healed. Time to drink. Cheers. Chapter 63, Healing. Well, since it's a new month, I should mention it's the best time to become a Patreon. As usual, 5 chaps for Tier 1 and 10 ch for Tier 2. That applies to all my FICS. Well, since MS and Code are the only ones published. The others only go up to ch10. I made it this way so that when MS finishes, people will vote for the next FIC. I think 10 ch are enough for people to grasp on how the FIC will form. I'm actually hoping DXD, Rekaibayuato is the next FIC. It's easy as hell to write and it will be quite short. 40 to 50 chaps. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. BTW Biology Chap Bwa. You learn something new every day. I sure did when I was writing this chapter. I knew most of the stuff because I like biology. But I still learned some interesting facts. Word count 1450. Number. Y4 day 221, 3 weeks after the festival. The 4 largest warehouse in Musa Fazul has just been cleaned out yesterday. This is the 3rd hit on a warehouse this month. Police are still investigating but have come up with no leads. But they do know a few things. The first is that no merchandise was moved out from the warehouse. The culprits ate everything in the warehouse. This was determined by the empty bags of food they left behind. When the police first arrived, they were expecting merchant to be stacked on top of each other. But all they found was a warehouse filled with trash. By this, it was determined that there were several people with quirks enabling them to eat a large amount of food. The second is that one of the culprits has hacked into the cameras of the warehouse and put all of them on loop. So there are no photos of the criminals. Since they have not harmed anyone directly, they are not considered villains. But indirectly they have caused great damage to the city's food line. The first week was pure chaos in the supermarkets. Since there was no shipment of food from the warehouses, people started to fight on who will get the things that are still there. This was easily solved by contacting other warehouses in different cities. But that just proves to show how easily people panic. So we ask you all not to be alarmed, and if such a thing should happen again, just remain calm. As you can see, the problem will be fixed shortly. Thank you for your time. This is Diane Fowler from the 12 o'clock news. Things are looking good. They think a group raided the warehouses. When in fact I just disabled the cameras and went on an eating spree. I was careful not to leave any traces behind. At the first warehouse, I used Icon to speed up Tubby's quirk. That was the first one I got. After that, I just used that quirk for the other warehouses. I helped to eat and metabolize food faster. Not much I can do there with training. Most of the quirk works passively. Which is good for me, all I have to do is eat. I got Chin's quirk second and Charlie's third. Using Chin's food immersion. I have been storing the energy I get from the food. I got more than enough to fix my legs now. I can even upgrade them a bit. I have been practicing with Charlie's healing quirk. And it has been difficult. Even with all my medical knowledge, using a quirk like this is hard. Especially since the quirk itself is in its infancy. All quirks I get have to be grown. Which means time and practice. It just so happened that Chin and Tubby's are mostly passive quirks. But Charlie's is an active one. Where I can only get better by practicing it a lot. But that isn't important right now. It's good enough to act as a supporting role in my healing. Most of it will still be done by /life return. As I am most familiar with that at this point in time. I'm very anxious to get my legs back. All the preparations are ready. I'm starting the healing process tomorrow. God fucking speed, /n good luck on your journey. Number. Y4 day 224, 3 days later. Okay, I made sure to tell everyone I am on a training trip and they won't be able to contact me for a while. I don't need people panicking about me and calling the police. That's just bad reputation and is something I won't allow. I'm in one of the new apartments I acquired. I'm so glad I learned to hack. It's one of the new fancy apartments too. I stole some wealthy millionaire's identity and make him pay for it. He has a lot of apartments like this so he won't notice another one. I made sure he can't see it. There is a paper trail and all of his real estates is paid by a separate fund called For Real Estate. He is not very creative. I just linked that fund to the apartment and was done. Now for the real reason, I came here. To finally heal my legs. And with the amount of calories/energy I got I can even upgrade them. Well, it's time. I lay down in the designated area. I made a pin. Like you do for kids. The first layer was a lot of plastic sheets, then normal clean white sheets above it. I lay down and grabbed the knife. Pain receptors off. I turned off all the pain below my thighs. Then I took the knife and made a deep slash on one of my stumps. I winced a little. Not from the pain but from the sight. Seeing my leg with a deep cut and blood gushing out is not a pretty sight. Okay, first I seal off almost all inner blood vessels. The ones that are left are mainly in the skin. Then I start making my skin expand. I'm quite literally growing the skin. Usually, regeneration starts from the bone outwards, but I am making the skin first for many different reasons. First of all, is to make sure nothing is contaminated when I do the bone and the muscles. The last thing I need is some dust to enter when I make my bone marrow. Worst case I will get cancer and have to amputate the leg again. I am not dealing with that again. So skin goes first and acts as a cover protecting the insides while they are being grown. And it wasn't even proper skin. I will change it again later once the muscles are formed. This is a temporary cover. When that finished it looked like an empty leg-shaped balloon. It was kinda creepy. Now for the base of the bones. Since I am creating them from scratch I'm making them, even more, denser than when I modified my bones before. I ate a lot of minerals for this. Most of it was not even from food. Tubby's quirk allows me to eat and digest almost anything. I got a lot of carbon as well. I'm calling the quirk gluttony, it seems fitting. I used all of those minerals in the creation process. Now the bone is made from compact bone. It's the hard bone on the outside. Then there is the sponge bone and the bone marrow. The bone marrow creates bone marrow stem cells and other substances, which in turn produce blood cells. The sponge bone stores those. Now the bone is mostly made from calcium and collagen, the glue and foundation of the body. It can be found almost everywhere inside the human body. The collagen makes a soft framework while calcium and other minerals and cells harden that framework. So I redesigned the whole fucking framework. And this next part is pure bullshit without any scientific backing. Instead of the normal framework, which is similar to a honeycomb, I changed it so it's diamond structured. I put a load of minerals and carbon combined with the calcium and all the other things I ate to form it. Since it's organic, of course, it won't be as hard as diamond. But here's the thing. A diamond is created when heat and pressure are used to compact carbon. So what did I do? Telekinesis Quirk. I compressed the compound bone even further. Then it already was. I got steel for bones now. Then I used the same honeycomb structure to form the inside. The normal human body has a similar structure to it. But I used and compressed the real structure. Now my body can store more marrow than it was able to do before. There was much to do with the actual bone marrow. I improved and optimized the process. But other than that, I didn't change a lot. The blood vessels inside the bones were made to be more elastic and rubbery than normal so they could handle the pressure when I used Divine Demon. The growing of the bones took a slow 2 hours. I had to move the empty skin as the bones form. For the foot, it was like putting on gloves. I carefully put the skin on each toe. When that was finished, I grabbed a water bottle and drank it all. I have more water in me than I could ever need thanks to Chin's food immersion. But the stress of the procedure made my throat dry. Now for the muscule. Chapter 64, Healing 2. Yo, sorry for the late release. 16 days. Damn. I kinda lost track of time. I was focusing a bit on the other FICS. Made good progress with some of them. BTW, the last 3 to 4 days I haven't been writing at all. Fell off my bike of all things. And in such a stupid way too. When I was climbing from the street to the sidewalk, the tire got stuck in between them. Lost balance, fell and fucked up my wrist a bit. Nothing was broken but the joint was irritated. Banged up. I guess. I even tried writing with one hand. But the pain was distracting me, so I just stopped. Anyway, I will try to focus on code for a bit. To make up for lost time. Word count 1204. Number. The muscule. The muscular system is responsible for the movement of the human body. Attached to the bones of the skeletal system are about 700 named muscles that make up roughly half of a person's body weight. There are 3 types of muscle. Cardiac, smooth, and skeletal muscle. Cardiac is for the heart and smooth for the organs, and skeletal are the muscles that move the body. The skeletal are the ones I'm going to work on the most. They are further divided into type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers. Type 1 fibers are very slow and deliberate in their contractions. They are very resistant to fatigue because they use aerobic respiration to produce energy from sugar. We find type 1 fibers in muscles throughout the body for stamina and posture. Otherwise known as slow-twitch muscle fibers. The red muscle fibers. Type 2 fibers are fast-twitch, broken down into 2 subgroups, Type 2A and Type 2B. Type 2B fibers are even faster and stronger than Type 2A, but have even less endurance. Type 2B fibers are also much lighter in color than Type 1 and Type 2A. This type is mostly prominent in the upper body, where they give speed and strength to the arms and chest at the expense of stamina. These are the white muscle fibers. Type 2A fibers are faster and stronger than Type 1 fibers but do not have as much endurance. They are especially prominent in the legs, where they work to support your body throughout a long day of walking and standing. The moderate fast twitch, or otherwise known as pink muscles fibers. They are a mix of red and white muscle fibers. Now Akazumi's 100% pink muscle from Kenichi's mightiest disciple is impossible for most people, but not for me. I can do it, but I won't. The human body needs both red and white muscles to function. At most I can turn 35% of my muscles to pink. So I have enough red and white left so the body doesn't lose any power or stamina. With food immersion I don't have to worry about stamina all that much, but I also don't want to waste it. I can use that energy to make quirks or animal forms faster. /n This next part is unrealistic AF, but what can you do? So besides the normal muscle changes, I will be mixing in some spider silk with some of my muscles. Specifically, dragline silk made by Darwin's bark spider. This silk is 10 times tougher than Kevlar and can be stretched over 90% of its length, making it one of the toughest known biological materials in the world. Now if I mix it with my muscles it will boost my strength overall. The silk and the muscles are both made from protein. Then in comprising the muscle fibers as well should add a great boost to my body. The blood vessels need to be changed as well. I changed them once before making them more elastic and rubbery to handle Divine Demon. Now I'll do the same, just doubling up the scale. Honestly, my veins in the leg might as well be made up of rubber by now. Making the muscles and veins took 5 hours. My senses are still turned off, but I imminently noticed the change. When I tried to lift up my leg with my arms it was a lot heavier than what I am used to. I hope it's just as powerful as it is heavy. Next, I did the skin. From where the stump begins. The new temporary skin I made started to change. The skin is the largest organ a human has. It accounts for 15% of your total body weight. There is not a lot I can change about human skin except make it denser than it already is. Human skin is surprisingly as good as an animal one. The only reason the skin is so weak and fragile is because of the lifestyle that humans live. People in poorer regions in the world are shown to have tougher and harder skin. Especially on the feet. Since they walk barefoot. Chinese martial artists do the iron body training. It's basically getting hit by various objects or people daily. This needs to be done every day for a few years to show visible results. This is called conditioning. There is partial conditioning where they do a certain body part. Like the iron palm. They literally torture themselves. They hit various objects with the hand, of wood, stone, iron, red sand and etc. Doing this over prolonged periods of time breaks the bones and muscles and shreds the skin. Each cycle the bones and muscles heal, getting stronger and deformed. Same with the skin. I don't have the time needed to invest in that sort of thing. But I can always cheat. I will make my skin denser. Then use my own bioelectricity to attack the cells in the epidermis. It will be pretty simple to do with /life return. Changing the skin took 1 hour. So with the bones, muscles and skin. It took me 8 hours for one leg and a buttload of my energy/stamina reserves. I turned back the receptors in my leg to see if it was successful. The first thing I noticed was the weight. It felt like I had weights on my legs. I tried to move the leg and it was very smooth. I expected some discomfort or for the leg to move a second late. But that didn't happen. I flexed each muscle in the leg to check. Everything worked perfectly. Next, I did the other leg. That took 8 hours as well. When it was all done I stood up on both of my legs. I started to laugh uncontrollably. I did some light kicks and jumping to test things out. It was a lot more powerful than I intended. When I land on the ground after a jump there is a loud thud sound. Showing the change in weight. After a quick run, especially with my current legs, I found myself in a secluded part of the forceps. Now for the real test. Soru. I was moving faster than ever. Easily double my previous speed. If it wasn't for my enhanced perception I would have smacked myself into a tree. I jumped in the air higher than ever. Then I kicked the air. Jeppo. Once. Jeppo. Twice. And the third time I focused all my strengths and I combined both and stomped the air really hard with both legs. Boom. There was a small sonic boom. I appeared a 100m away. Jeppo and Soru. I'll need to think up a name for that. Now the last test. I land on the ground and recharge my stamina with food Iron. I focus my power and kick. Rank Yaku. A bluish-white slash leaves my leg. It was 5 meter wide and processed to cut the trees in front of me in half. Horizontal slash. Shhhh thud thud, thud. All I saw was 20 stumps with perfect clean cuts. Ha 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 ha. I'm back. Stronger than ever. Watch out world. Shinichi Kudo is back. Number. Asterisk hidden title I'm back. Any improvements on the biology part are welcome. Number. Here is my current progress on Patreon. DXD Kaiba. DXD Magneto. DBZ Gohan CH10. DXD Necromancy. DCYJ Re Superboy CH6. And other random ones. 5CH, 4.34. And so on. Chapter 65, Chapter 65 Toxic Chainsaw. The hero hunter Garu claimed his 10th victim. Fortunately, he hasn't killed any of them besides the first 2. His goals are unknown. When asked for his motives, he only replayed that he is taking out the trash. From the cameras, on the pro heroes, we learned many things. Garu is a young man approximately 19 years old with sharp features, yellow eyes, and long silver hair that spikes upward in 2 large prongs. He has a lean muscular build and stands at 180 centimeters. He wears a tight, black, long-sleeved shirt, loose-fitting white martial arts pants, a yellow sash around his waist, and Tai Chi slippers on his feet. He has shown to have a great deal of martial arts experience and most surprisingly of all, has shown multiple quirks all from the heroes he defeated. But it seems the quirks are cheap imitations of the originals and are quite weaker. Immediately hide and contact the authorities. I found out that Toxic Chainsaw was going to make a ruckus to attract some attention to fight off some heroes, showing how strong he was. I think this is a perfect opportunity for the martial genius of the century Shinichi Kudo to have his quirk awakened. By fighting in a very dangerous situation where his quirk was forced to evolve, the public will eat that up, even without me interfering. Of course, I will still make sure they only write what I want. God, I love my spy flies. Best decision I made. Blackmailing people makes life so much easier. Number. Ha 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 ha. Come out heroes. Or all of these people are going to die. Toxic Chainsaw yelled out. Toxic C has shoulder-length hair that appears to be slimy. He has a long jawline and a pointy chin. He is very well built and muscular. Toxic C was topless as he rampaged in the city. The only clothes he was wearing were baggy pants with skull-shaped knee pads and army boots. VRRRRRRR. Ha ha ha, get ready to be shredded by my pal DOKU. He raised his chainsaw which had the words DOKU painted on it and started waving it around, shredding and slashing everything in his path. He saw a woman tripping on the sidewalk and ran towards her. "No, please see!" the woman yelled out. One shredded meat bag coming right up. He raised his chainsaw above his head and swung it down as he smiled like a maniac. Whoosh! Suddenly, just as the chainsaw was halfway there, a figure appeared. He raised his right hand slightly and hit TC's forearm. The blow looked weak, but it knocked off the chainsaw's course, completely missing the woman. "Hey!" TC glared at the newcomer. A young boy, around the age of 14. He was wearing a black sleeves hoodie and had headphones around his neck. "Oi! Get your ass up and get away!" He turned his head slightly to the woman, who had soiled herself. She didn't need to be told twice as she first started crawling away before standing up into a full sprint. "Wait, I know you. You're that kid from the news. Kodo something. The one that wins those fighting contests. You just cost me my prey. So I guess you'll have to take her place." He raised his chainsaw again, fully intending to cut me to pieces. "They were martial arts tournaments, you imbecile. Not a fucking beauty contest. I guess your tiny brain can't comprehend that. Actually, I don't think you even know what comprehend means. And it's Shinichi Kodo, remember that when your soon-to-be crippled ass is sent to prison. Kodo enters his fighting stance. Number MC POV. Wow, he is weak. Like really weak. I expected him to be a lot stronger. Judging by his hair and the way it's starting to ooze some liquid. I'm guessing that's where the toxic part comes into play. So he can create an attack with toxic ooze. It kind of counters me. Since I'm barehanded at the moment. I mean I can end him within the next second. But that's not the goal. I need to make it look like I'm losing. So my quirk can awaken in the last stand. The cliché heroic moment. I look at the corner of my eye and see that people are filming us. I lower my strength but still use my moves. Soru. Tac X7, hit sound. I use a low power Soru to close the distance and hit him 7 times in a single moment. He stumbles slightly before regaining his balance. Ha! You call that a strike? I have had girls hit me harder than you, he yells out, but his face was twitching. If I had used more strength he would have fist-sized holes in the areas I hit. I really hate when I have to do shit like this. It doesn't suit me. But we all have to do this, we don't want because it's the smarter choice. People don't want to go to work. But they have to. The same thing applies here. Stop running, you brat. He starts getting angrier and his swings become even wilder. I'm waiting for some heroes to arrive. I already have my little spies in every agency in the area. The heroes will arrive first are weak as hell. And Johnny Bravo is still too far away. I need him to attack the heroes so I can save them. People just love shit like this. Boom, I give him a weak roundhouse kick to the chin. His head flies back, and he stumbles before regaining his balance. He shook his head a bit to get rid of the dizziness and spat out some blood. Guess I must have cracked a tooth. Stop in the name of the law. A man in a black spandex suit with a white S on it yells out. Civilian, get away to safety. This is no place for a child. I just look at him for a few seconds before backing off. Internally I'm debating whether to save him or let him die. What situation would be better? Now I am Syndrome. Shurinder now Villian. Toxic Chainsaw just jumps at him and screams out D. Number A/N. Word count 1040. 1 month after getting healed. Toxic Chainsaw. Fight between Johnny Bravo and ONE4ALL soon. MC won't involve himself with it. It's suicidal / And yes, the syndrome from The Incredibles. BTW, I will be changing my Patreon to 18+. Working on DXD, Necro system, and it's time for it to really go. Dark and perverted. There is also the sex scene in YJSB that I have yet to write. Live is going. The new kitchen is almost done. Just need to move a few more things, freaking finally. Chapter 66, Chapter 66 Awakening. Hey guys, sorry for the slow release. Here's the update. I have been stressing out about work for the last 2 months. Today I have finally finished the documents and gave them to the company. So either they take me permanently or they fire me. It's out of my hands now. And it feels great. You can expect faster releases now. All there is left is a random interview with the big boss. They don't even tell you when. So I'm not even going to think about that. I'm happy that I can just go back to chilling and writing. Enjoy the chap. BTW Syndrome is the villain from The Incredibles 1. Number D. Toxic Chainsaw just jumps at Syndrome, purple ooze starts to form on his skin. But Syndrome points his hands at Toxic C and a blue energy beam hits him and stops him in place. Syndrome then pushes and Toxic C goes flying into a building. Syndrome takes out some support gears like a stun gun and a stun staff. He didn't have to wait long because Toxic C dashed right back at him. He looked roughed up, but that didn't seem to bother him. Syndrome dodges and keeps hitting him with the staff, causing him to stiffen up because of the electoral current. Keep still! Toxic C yells out. Syndrome just ignores him and continues to mumble something under his breath. 8. 9. 10. He points his hand at Syndrome and the blue beam stops him in place. HUAH! Syndrome swings his arm hard. And Toxic C is sent flying again with an even bigger velocity. He goes straight through a couple of walls. Asterisk cough. Cough asterisk. Toxic C stands back up from the rubble and dusts himself off. So that's it. Your quirk has a time limit. That just means I have to cut you when you can't use it. Now it's my turn. Purple ooze starts to gather in his arms in large quantities. He then swung his arms upward. Toxic rain. The purple ooze scatters once it reached its peak height. And started falling down like purple raindrops. Syndrome tried his best to protect himself with various objects. But the ooze ate through it and hit him directly. The ooze ate through his suit and started dissolving his skin. People are really dumb. I saw you inject yourself as soon as you entered the fight. You think a few antidotes will help you fight me? I don't just make poisons. You heroes are arrogant pieces of shit. That's why all of you die when you fight me. I create acid as well, you morons. Number, MCPOV. While Syndrome was dying on the ground and Toxic C was monologuing, I was breaking down his stats. Toxic C has a lot of endurance. But I already established that a few stronger hits and he is down. But his quirk is a surprise. All my information showed that he just makes the poison. Hence the DOKU on his chainsaw. But acid? That was new. He is basically the villain version of Mina Ashido. And just so happens to be one of the types that counters me somewhat. Well, if we were on the same level he would counter me. But since the whole point of this isn't to win but to make a solid reason for my evolution, I need to play it right. Yo ugly! I call him out. He turns his head around looking directly at me. You again? Didn't you ran off like a little bitch? Why are you back? First of all, I didn't run away. I was here the whole time. It's not my fault you have the attention span of a goldfish. Along with its intelligence apparently. And 3.2.1. What did you say to me, you lil bitch? Easy. You heard me. Fish for brains. Get your stupid ass over here so I can kick it to the ground again. To finish things off with style, I give him a middle finger. His face turned red from anger and he rushed like an angry bull. He swings, I dodge and hit back. That went on back and forth for about a minute. I was looking for a way to make the situation desperate for myself. But it looks like I can only get hit by the poison. I already injected myself with it. I touched the chainsaw when we were fighting. I already have the antibodies for it being made. But how do I get hit by a chainsaw without it making any lasting damage? This is getting filmed. I don't want people to know about regeneration. This early. Sigh. Looks like I will have to risk it. I don't want to use other quirks when I'm acting as Shinichi Kodo. But it looks like I have no other option. Telekinesis is the best way. I could slow down the chainsaw so it only cuts me a little in the chest. I could do it with my slowed down perception and my speed. But that would just bring unnecessary risks. Imagine he gets a stupid power boost and cuts my neck. Already lost my legs because of my arrogance. I will not repeat the same mistake again. I use this moment to use telekinesis on the chainsaw. The change was minimal, I don't think Toxic C even noticed. The arc of the chainsaw moved slightly and I moved so it will only scratch my chest and draw a little blood. I made sure once the chainsaw was near me to use telekinesis on it constantly so it wouldn't go deeper than that. Ha ha ha. Got you. You little bastard. My poison will spread and start to paralyze you. This poison is not actually half bad, I might make it in the future. I used the sample to make antibodies so it won't kill me. I'll let it run its course but it will be weakened. I need to show the signs of being poisoned for this to work. Now be a good boy and sit still so I can tear you apart. Hi. He lunged at me again with his wild swings. I already noticed people filming this with their phones. With each swing, I lowered my speed making it seem like the poison is affecting me. My skin got paler and my lips started to turn blue. I threw a few punches and kicks but there was zero force behind them, further making it obvious I losing. Then I purposely fell on one knee and started to pant, and glared at the man. Hat. So this is as far as you go. I expected more but I guess you are still a child. Now let me hear you scream. Hey! He lifted his chainsaw. This is it. Number, third POV. People held their breaths as the chainsaw was falling down. Then the miracle happened. The boy who was about to die started changing. He grew sandy yellow fur, especially around his neck. He started to grow his face, turning more animalistic. He raised his hand, which was a mix between a human hand and a paw. Toxic C was so startled he froze in place, especially after the beast looked him in the eye. The beast took a deep breath and roar. A deafening roar took place. Everybody covered their ears. Toxic C, the closest one to the blast, dropped his chainsaw and screamed as he covered his bleeding ears. The beast stood up, now taller than Toxic C. It was easy to see what he had become. A lion. He raised his paw and slammed it into Toxic C's face, sending him flying and skidding around the ruble. "Aw, fuck you! My ears!" As he shakily stood up, yelling out because his hearing was damaged. Toxic armor. He started to make dark red ooze. "Take this, animal freak!" The lion grabbed an iron rod connected to a partially broken concrete block. He then bucked his knees, leaned a bit forward and he was gone. The next thing saw was him appearing in front of Toxic C. They heard was the sound of concrete cracking and Toxic C screaming in pain. The pain must have made him lose focus because all of his red goo fell apart on the ground. The lion saw this and raised his hand. Sharp claws extended even more from his morphed fingers. He then started slashing at high speeds. His hands were a blur. When he stopped, there were numerous claw marks on the villain's body. He fell backward with a loud thud. His chest was still rising but he was alive. Bleeding but alive. Bangug. They turned around and saw another dust cloud. People started running away thinking it's another villain. Have no fear. Because I am here. All Might is here. We are saved. That was on everybody's mind. The people were relieved, and just as they were about to say something, the sound of footsteps echoed on the street. The lion was limping towards All Might. He then started to shift back into a young boy. He looked terrible. Pale as a ghost and blood leaking from his blue lips. "You are late," the boy spat out. He then lost consciousness and fell forward only to be caught in the hands of the number one hero. The people would never forget this scene. The birth of a hero. If only they knew the truth. Number. Word count 1460. His lion form is something like the lion monster from One Punch. And the lion guy from Killing Bites. The animal part of the quirk is actually inspired by Killing Bites. Chapter 67, The Lion. Went to an amusement park with my family. Boring. They convinced me to take the big rides. Even more boring, you do it a few times and the thrill loses its effect. Everything there bores me now. Did eat some food though. But in the end lost my whole day for nothing. Enjoy the chap. Remove the extra spaces. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. Word count 1475. Number. Ladies and gentlemen. A loud voice was booming in the stadium. I welcome you to the Grand Fighting Tournament. The one place where quirks and martial arts meet. Here are 50 of the most skilled fighters the world has ever seen. All of them have traveled far and wide to meet up here in Tokyo. Crowd cheering. Because of the sheer size of the contestant, this will be a blitz tournament, which means you have one round. If there isn't a knockout, a panel of judges made up of former fighters will decide on who passes based on their performance. But the question is, are you ready? The crowd explodes with cheers. I might add some crowd comments. Then let's get this started. The lights change and they focus on one of the tunnels. The music starts. In the first match, a pro hero from Brazil is here to test his strength. Lyoto the Dragon Machida. Loito. Dragon. Suddenly the music changes. On the other side, the man who threw the world upside down with his raw talent. Undefeated since the age of 5. Fought villains with nothing but his fists. At the age of 9 awakened his quirk to a higher level, further increasing his strength. The pride of Japan. The lion. Shinichi Kodo. Ah! Kyaa Kodo-sama. So handsome. Kodo. Kodo, Kodo. The boy. Nay. The man who exited the tunnel made the crowd go wild. Because of his awakening, his growth had exploded. At the age of 13, he stands at 175 and has 75 kilograms of pure muscle on him. His jet black hair in a spiky undercut. His face filled with confidence. On his back from his left shoulder to his right, there was a tattoo. Fortis Fortuna adiuvat, fortune favors the bold. Under it, right in the middle of his back, was a tattoo of a lion's head. I don't RLY like Escanor's tattoo. But I would like a lion tattoo with a crown, or it could be without it. Just not the Og tattoo. Ideas PLS. We need something cool. Power was literally rolling off him. At the age of 11 he fought the infamous Garou and copied his martial arts. The now improved martial arts named Rokushiki were spread by Kodo-kun. Very few have managed to learn and use them. None come close to Garou and Kodo-kun. Since he awakened his quirk, which allows him to change some or his whole body into animals. Kodo has only used it once in a fight against the then Numer 20 pro hero. Kodo-kun surprisingly won the match quickly, which further boosted his career. After that, he hasn't used it. When asked why, he replied, "I'll use it when I need it," showing his confidence in his style. As if he is saying, I don't need a quirk to defeat you. He has defeated Japan's martial artists. Every single grandmaster has fallen, no matter what discipline. Currently, he is being considered as the next national treasure of Japan. For our foreign spectators, national treasure is a designation for individuals who have attained high mastery of an art or craft, and are very important to the country. Number up in the VIP stands. Wow, he is selling it hard. He is really sucking up to Shin, the one who said it was a young man built like stone. He had black hair and was dressed casually. And an arm over the shoulders of a cute black hair girl, Yuuki Tetsuya 18. Tetsuya. Don't be so vulgar. The black-haired girl was Tetsuya's girlfriend. They meet each other in the school baseball club. Fujiwara Takako 18. Come one Takako-chan. The club was a much worse place and you didn't complain so much. Tetsuya smiled at her. Sigh. Only you would go play baseball because he wanted to relax from fighting. You do know a military expert made their training plan, right? And you breezed through it. Being your club manager was a pain. Takako pouted. Well, I had planned to stay for a while and leave. But something caught my attention and I just couldn't. So much so that I spent almost every single moment chasing after it. Tetsuya leaned on the now blushing Takako, but were interrupted by the voice behind them. Get a room, you two. Sigh. Both of them looked at each other, signaling with their eyes they were going to continue this later. Tetsuya turned back and faced the voice. A young girl with brown hair was agitated. Look, Ran, I know you well. You and Momo are pissed at Shin, but keep the rest of us out of it. Humph. Ran turned her to the side, Mori ran 13. Come on Ran-chan. Don't be such a tsundere. Is this still about the college party? So what if sensei slept with some girls? A tall black-haired girl put a hand on Ran's shoulder. She was just 13 but already had assets that would make older girls jealous. Yay Urozu Momo 13. But Momo-chan. That Casanova is getting out of hand. He just sleeps with anyone he wants. Doesn't that bother you? Ran turns to her. It does bother me. But sensei isn't going to change. He has always done what he wants. He clearly likes older women. I'll wait to grow up some more, then I'll make my move, Momo said in a determined tone. Well, the age of consent in Japan is 13. So he is in the clear. Not like it would stop him anyway. Tetsuya just shrugs. That only applies if the other person is 13 or 14. Not 20. Ran yelled out. Like I said, not like it would stop him. It's fine, let him enjoy his youth. He is the pride of all men. A boy with brown hair and glasses said while pointing his finger in the sky, Mako Shu 18. Ran punched him in the face, sending him flying. Shut up, you pervert. You were with him to stop him from doing shit like that. Shu raised his head slightly from the ground. Cough. I was, but then a pretty girl approached me and I got sidetracked. Worth it. He ended things with a thumbs up and fell on the ground again dramatically. Shin and Lyato started talking. With that, everybody turned their attention to the match. Number fighter focus, they are talking in English. So you're the lion. Gotta say I expected some sort of 2-meter giant. Lyato grinned. Shinichi simply started stretching a bit. Believe me. At the end of this you will wish you fought a giant. I don't think so. I'm not called the dragon just to grab attention. Lyato squatted down and put his palms on the ground. He started to transform. Red scales appeared on his body. Wings sprouted out of his shoulder blades. A tail soon followed. His trunks were specially made with an elastic material. It also had a hole in the trunks for tail that was covered by the material. When the tail forms, it pushes away the strips of material to exit through the hole. He looked like a red humanoid dragon. Hee. Not bad, right? Now you transform as well. And let's see who really is the king of the jungle. Lyato was very excited. It was easily seen since his tail was swishing back and forth. I won't be transforming. It will end the fight too quickly. Arrogant. But you have the right to be. 13 and already standing above the pros. I'm sure you would knock out a few of them from my country as well. I guess I'll just have to force you to use it. Lyato grinned. If you impress me, I'll consider using my animal forms, Shin said calmly with his arms crossed. Forms? Don't you just turn into a lion? Lyato looked confused. Right, I forgot that other countries don't know that. I keep my powers under wraps. So I have the element of surprise. I always turn into a lion because that's the only from the public knows. But my fans have been hounding me to show them the rest. So I will probably show 2 to 3 more forms in this tournament. Shin shrugs his shoulders. Between the two of us, how many forms do you have? How many animal races are there? Lyato blanks at that. Oki. Now I'm depressed. Why did you tell me if you want to keep it a secret? Because of a certain green-haired Quirk nerd figured it out. It's just a theory so far, but everybody knows it since it's the most logical explanation. So hiding it any longer works against me. Shin looked displeased about that. Tough luck, man. Well, that's enough talking. Let's get this thing started. Lyato kneels down a bit. Yeah. The crowd is getting restless. Try not to die. Shin enters his stance. The first fight of the tournament begins. Number. Epic rap battles of history. Dragon vs Lion. Begin. A/N. A/N. I don't know why I bothered to explain this. My brain isn't working properly. I reread this and I'm like, WTF. He did say he was going to get the words tattooed across his back. The tattoos give him a bad boy image. The lion tattoo is more of a political move. It was his first transformation. And it sends a message. The Lion. The King. Chapter 68, Lion 2. Begin. As soon as the announcer's voice was heard, Lyato, who looked like a humanoid dragon, pounced. Ray. He raised his fist covered in red scales, telegraphing a punch. When he was witching a 2-meter distance from me, he smirked and jumped and spun in mid-air. With the momentum he slammed his tail at my side. I quickly set up a block. But the sheer force knocked me back a couple of steps. He wasted no time getting right in my zone. Every fighter has a zone. It's described as a bubble with the fighter in the center. It is determined by their max striking distance, which is a kick. Lyato is constantly staying in it, forcing me off balance and on the defensive. But it's still not enough. As Lyato was forcing me backward with his punches, I dug my feet in the ground and slapped both his fists away with my thumbs. I jabbed them in the inner side of the wrists. His scales protected him from permanent damage. But the force and the pain made him instinctively pull them back. Like pricking yourself on a needle. You immediately move away. Even with him pulling his hands back, his momentum still pushed him to me. I put my arms in the air, palms open towards him. I slammed my foot in the ground and twisted. The force from the ground traveled through my body. I added more and more force to it with each muscle it passed. When it reached my shoulders, I directed it in my arms. I quickly put my arms on his chest and pushed while twisting my hands. The force slammed into his chest, sending Lyato flying for a few meters. What an incredible show of strength! The lion has pushed back the dragon, I heard the announcer's voice. Honestly, can't they get someone competent to do these things? It's just simple wave motion. Almost all martial arts depend on it. Properly moving your strength, without losing any in the motion to maximize the damage you do. In this case, instead of using that force in a punch for more physical damage, I used my palms and spread them out on his chest, shaking up his internal organs. Cough, cough, fuck, that hurt. You got past my scales. I admit I didn't see it coming at me this early. Lyato got up from the ground. It's quite obvious, isn't it? If an opponent has a strong external defense, you strike internally, I say calmly. Hey, you got in a lucky shot. It won't happen again, Lyato gruffed as he got in his stance. I'm sorry, but it will. I knew I would face opponents like you, so I designed a new martial art for it. The name is up for debate, but I'm partial to crushing palm. I enter a loose stance with my palms to my side. Crushing palm, hey? Crush any defense with your palms. Do you think that's gonna work in real life? There is a reason why most martial arts became obsolete after MMA appeared. This sounds like some Tai Chi shit. Lyato actually looked disgusted. I was going to try something like this on him. Well, I'm going to say only one thing, I croak down. Oh yeah, what's that? I smirk slightly, don't blink. Hey. Whoosh pow slash tack, x7. Gah. Lyato gasped and fell down on one knee. There were 7 spots on his body where the scales were damaged. There was a small palm indentation on those spots. Shugoi, the dragon is down. Kodo hit him 7 times in a single second. The announcer's voice boomed, followed by the cheers of the crowd. Cough. Cough, what the hell was that? You call that internal damage? You blew apart my scales. Lyato glared at me. Well, the goal is to injure people internally. I never said it doesn't do external damage, I grinned at him. Fuck you. I think you moved my fucking liver to the other side of my body. Lyato slowly stood up. One hand on his stomach. I shook things up pretty badly in there. You wish. Sorry buddy, but I like girls. But if you are looking for something, there is a bar called the Blue Oyster about 1 kilometer from here. What? No. I'm not gay. How do you even know about that bar? Lyato splitters. When somebody pisses me off I knock them out. I take money from his wallet. Call a cab and tell the driver to knock on the door and that he was for the late night party. Then I pay the driver with his money. The majority of men just felt a shiver down their spines. How absolutely evil. Kodo-kun is an evil genius. I sent a glance at the announcer. One that I will never, ever insult and hold him in the highest esteem. The announcer started sweating. The men next to him started distancing themselves to show they are not with him. Lyato was looking at me with his jaw dropped. You know? You are a real scary guy. I just shrug. I have been told that before. Lyato folds his wings and jumps, but I will still win. Let's see how you handle an air attack. He flies higher then dives down with his arms stretched and claws ready. Aerial attack. Hey! I did say I was going to show more of my forms. I think this is a good chance. Sure, I'll play your game. I kneel down, gathering the attention of the Lyato and the audience. You are going to fight me in the air by jumping? Are you mad? Lyato stops his dive, preparing for my jump. Nope, I got something even better in mind as soon as I said that. Two giant pitch black wings come out of my shoulder blades. Ah! Ah! EHHH! Everybody started yelling from the surprise. Kodo-kun has wings. Amazing! Contestant Kodo grew wings. Is this another part of his quirk? Lyato shakily pointed his finger at me. Why you have W wings? I just show him a peace sign. Told you I was going to show off a bit in this tournament. Plus these aren't just ordinary wings. Over the years I decided it was stupid to have so many pairs of wings, so I took the best part of each of them and made these. These are a perfect size so they can lift me. And are a crap ton stronger than they should be. The feathers are shaped like an owl so it's completely silent as well. Heads up, I jump with all my strength and start flapping my wings to accelerate even further. I blur past Lyato and appear in the air on top of him. What? I fold my wings, and do a front flip with my heel hitting him in the head sending him down. I flap my wings and dive after him. Lyato regains his balance and blocks my leg, but I follow up with a punch to his face. He kicks me off with his leg and puts some distance between us. Kodo-kun damages Lyato yet again. Lyato's air tactic has turned against him. The voice boomed through the speakers. Shut it! Lyato vein pops before he yells out to the commentator box. Ah, it seems the dragon is feeling the pressure. He is starting to get distracted. The announcer mocks him a little. Lyato starts mumbling curses under his breath, mostly wait till I get my hands on you or retarded announcers. What you gonna do now, lizard man? Do you actually have the stamina to spare by flying around like this? Those wings of yours aren't made for continuous flight, are they? I point at him with a small smirk. You really are a bastard. Lyato starts descending to the ground. As soon as he touches down he takes back his wings and enters a new stance. But judging by the way his tail is positioned he will probably fight like the blonde tail kid from Class A. Good choice. You would have definitely lost in an aerial battle. I start descending as well. I take back my wings when I hit the ground. So anything else you want to show me? I ask him, but he just keeps quiet and just stares at me, observing my every moment. I shrug my shoulders. Well, I would like to say it's been fun. But would be lying. See you around, Lyato. After saying my piece I dash straight at him, nearing my top speed. His expression was steeled. This would be his final stand. I start hitting him with palm strikes. Right. Left. Above. Below. His scales were flying everywhere. Blood started to come out from the more serious wounds. He tried to get some hits in. He used his claws and tails to hit me a few times. But they were minimal and barely did any damage. After a full 2 minutes of punishment I back off. Lyato was bleeding all over the place. His blood covered his red scales in a different shade. He looked terrible. He looked like he was going to pass out any second. Cough. I want a rematch. Lyato tried to take one step but passed out midway and fell face first on the ground. Asterisk ding. Ding asterisk. We have a winner. Shinichi Kodo. Winner by knockout. The crowd went wild. Kyalian-sama. Ah, it's good being me. Number. How many will get the Blue Oyster reference? It's from an old movie. Go watch Buckus vs Elfman fight. This is going to go pretty much the same. Except Buckus wins XD. Chop hanging palm from Fairy Tail Bacchus Grow. And Hyaga from Naruto Gentle Fist. Number. If I fall asleep right now, I have about 3 hours before I need to wake up and go to work. Which is normal for me. Sad and unhealthy. But it's because I'm stupid and don't manage my time properly. I average about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a day. Mostly 3. And apparently, I can't read the calendar. It's been like a week since I posted code. Because I messed up the dates. Whatever, I'll try and post code again tomorrow. If you want to read ahead or read my other FICS. Here's the link. Chapter 69, Beta House. Sorry for the late releases. I have been hella busy. Haven't really had time for myself. Which sucks. But, the good news is, I got my vacation. It was a pain to convince the bosses. But I did it. But the next 3 weeks are for relaxing. So sorry, but I won't be able to write at this time. Psych. Like hell, I'm stopping. The updates might be even more random than they are now though. Since I will be drunk most of the time and out partying. Should make for some interesting chapters XD. Well, enjoy this chap. And see you soon. Word count 1028. Number. I slowly made my way to the VIP room. The fight wasn't anything special. I expected a bit more from a pro hero. Especially one from a different country. But I guess he climbed the ladder using his popularity. Then again, the whole thing is a glorified popularity contest. And there are always backroom deals in these kinds of things. Cough endeavor. Shin. The people in the room yell out. Yo. How's it going? Having fun, I see. I take a glance at the table filled with drinks and snacks. There were a few beers there as well. Tetsuya waves lazily. Good work out there. Another pro hero down. Excellent job out there, Sensei. Momo flashed a big white smile. The bodyguards in the room also congratulated me. Shu on the other hand was excited. You finally showed your other forms. And you went with the wings. I would expect a visit from some pretty ladies after this. He waved his eyebrows suggestively. Humph. Stupid Casanova Ran turned her head away from us. And I saw Momo shifting in her place a little, looking slightly uncomfortable. Shu just grinned harder. Oh, what is this? Is this jealousy I see? Ran threw a punch but he avoided it. Shut it. You are just as guilty as him. All of this started in his tournament in America. Flashback Shin in USA 2 months ago. College dorm. Beta house. BA. Dum. Woohoo. Shin, this is awesome. Meiko Shu, 18, was having the time of his life. 2 blondes in crop tops and mini skirts were dancing with him. He had a giant cup filled with beer. Shin. Shu looked around, not spotting his friend. Hey handsome, if you're looking for your friend, he went to join a drinking contest. One of the blondes purred in his ear, sending shivers down his spine. Don't worry Blondie, he will be fine, you just focus on us. The other one did the same. Shu on the other hand just looked up in the sky. Thank you Shin-sama for granting me this opportunity. I won't let you down. It was obvious his friend left him alone so he could make his shot. Oh, I'm not worried about him. He will be fine. Us on the other hand, I think it's a bit too crowded in here. How about we go somewhere? Private Shu grabbed them both by the waist. Some of his palms was on their ass. The girls chuckled at his antics but still followed him. Number. Chug. 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 Come on, Mark. Drink, you pussy. Don't you dare lose to a Japanese. I won't let you live it down. Drink, god damn it. You are an American. A buff 2-meter man with horns coming out of his head was chugging a huge barrel. A few feet from him, his opponent, with a smaller build but lean and muscular, was doing the same. Come on, handsome. Kick his ass. Go. 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 Don't let that ass win. Compared to his opponent, he was surrounded by gorgeous women, mostly attracted to him because of his good looks. I'll give you something special if you win, the redhead purred next to him. We all will. He wasn't sure how many of them were serious. But the black-haired man started drinking faster. Asterisk glup. Glup. Glup asterisk. Everybody waited with anticipation. Until... thud. The black-haired man slammed the barrel on the counter and let out a long sigh. The winner of the Beta House drink-off Shin. Woohoo! The ladies jumped in to hug him and the redhead kissed him. His opponent, on the other hand, was lying face down on the floor. He didn't move a muscle out of fear that he will vomit all over the place. You're a piece of shit, you know that. A man said to the lying contestant, tapping him on the shoulder with his foot to check if he was still conscious. All he got was a quiet mumble that sounded a lot like fuck you. Shut up, you asshole. If you think you can outdrink that, his friend points at the man surrounded by women, then feel free to try. The men yelled out but didn't do anything else, they just watched their best drinker lose miserably. They will not be challenging the winner. Oh look, they are standing up. He points to the black-haired man surrounded by women. Lucky bastard, many of them grumbled, before continuing on with the drinking, hoping that alcohol will help them with their moods. Number. Shin, way to go. Thanks for putting that ass in his place. Well then, how about we give you your well-deserved award? I look at the woman surrounding and smirk. Well ladies, there just happens to be an empty room upstairs and I have the only key. So what do you say we make our way up there? The redhead and brunette grabbed him by the arms. I call dibs. Both of them called out and practically dragged him away, ignoring the catcalls and whistling coming from behind them. Well, you two are certainly eager, Shin teases them, but he also follows along at their speed. What can we say? We see what we want and take it, the redhead responds with a sexy tone. Early bird gets the prey and all that shit. The brunt pushes her cleavage around my arm. Hey, I'm not complaining, but I would like to know your names. Shin smiles. All of them stop in front of the door and the girls look at Shin. Why? He calmly inserts the key and opens the lock and grins. Because I want to know what to call you when you're screaming out my name. Someone's confident. I'm Sarah, the redhead replies. I'm Chloe. The brunette barely finished before Shin grabs both of them by the ass and lifts them up. Ladies, get ready for the best night of your lives. He closes the door with his foot. That night the moans from the room were heard from the whole house, as well as the stories of Shin the Beast that were spread across the campus. Chapter 70, Rabbit Hunting. New month. New sales pitch. You know the drill by now, XD. If you want to read ahead or just support me in my writing, here is the link to my patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. God fucking damn it, this took forever to write. But I think it was worth it. This has been my longest chapter to date. I wanted to make Miriko's fight better than the rest. Hope I did a good job. Word count 2300. Number. Miriko watched the tournament. She would have liked to enter, but there was a rise of crime in her area, so she couldn't exactly leave. She was looking at Kodo as he demolished the dragon. Her foot was tapping the floor. She mentally scowled. Her friend Ryuko was more fitting for that title. She was the dragon hero Ryukyu, and was much stronger than that wimp Lyato. Rumi. Are you still angry at that boy? Her secretary said. The noise was distracting her from her job. Gurmari-chan, he humiliated me. Rumi growled. No. You went ahead and called him a weakling. At the time he beat most of the world champions. Well, the ones that had the balls to fight him in the first place. And you called him weak, Mari pointed out. HMPHF, Rumi just turned her head to the side. Plus you lost to Guruo before that. You were supposed to ask Kodo-san about him, yet you insulted him. You brought that upon yourself. Mari just shook her head and went back to doing the paperwork. Damn you, Garu. You too, Kodo. Number 3 RDPOV, 1 year ago, we'll find out the date later, Garu vs Rumi. As Rumi was walking back to her house after a patrol. Before Rumi's ear twitched. Yo. So you're the one they call Mirako. She turned around to see a young man with yellow eyes and long silver hair. He had a lean muscular build. He wore a tight, black, long-sleeved shirt, loose-fitting white martial arts pants, a yellow sash around his waist, and Tai Chi slippers on his feet. Rumi entered her fighting stance. So this is Garu. What's it to you? You little pansy. You're the one everybody is freaking on about. You don't look so tough. Mirako gruffed with a confident smile. Ha ha ha. Garu just turned his head back and started laughing. You got spunk. Good. Good. I hope you will entertain me than the rest of your colleagues. Shut it. You put over 40 heroes in the hospital and killed 10. Garu just shrugged his shoulders. Meh, they're the ones that decided to be heroes. If they wanted a safe, peaceful life, they should have considered a different occupation. Grr. I'm going to enjoy breaking you, Mirako growled, seeing this Garu got in his fighting stance. Calm down, Rumi. Getting angry won't do you any good. Take a deep breath. And kick his ass. Mirako took a deep breath, and exhaled. She looked him right in the eyes and started to skip lightly in place. Garu raised an eyebrow at the action but didn't move or say anything. In one of the skips, the moment her feet touched the ground, she quickly crouched and then she jumped. The ground cracking under her feet as she zoomed to the left. She landed on a tree and jumped off it, sending chunks flying. She continued to ricochet a few more times. Up. Down. Left. Right. Her pattern was all over the place. But after each jump, she got faster. Garu stood in place. Like a statue. He didn't move even when she got behind him. She landed on a tree directly behind him and jumped with all her might, tearing the tree in half from the force. She leaned forward and did a somersault, gathering momentum for a devastating drop heel kick. Eat this fucker. Luna fall. Boom. She dropped her heel as hard as she could at his head, fully intending to crack it open like an egg. The ground cracked in a spider web pattern with Garu in the middle. The instant she hit him, the ground cracked, sending a dust cloud in the air. Ka ha ha. Is that the best you got? Through the dust cloud, Mirako saw Garu holding her hell with one hand. He has moved an inch. He caught my kick with one hand, without even looking. Mirako quickly jumped slightly with her other leg and kicked, aiming at his back, hoping to set her leg free. My turn. Garu tightened his muscles. His right hand that was holding her foot gripped tighter. Then with all of his strength he pulled. Mirako, whose kick was interrupted, found herself above Garu before she was slammed into the ground. Gah! The wind left her lungs. Not yet. He did the same. He pulled her foot and threw her into a 3. She hit it back first, then the back of her head followed. The blow to the head left her with a concussion. She was getting dizzy. HAAA, Oki. Not gonna lie. That hurt a lot. She stood up, a grin present on her face. She looked at him fearlessly. But don't think that's enough to keep me down. Garu looked at her and smiled, amused by her actions. Your courage is commendable, but he disappeared from her line of sight. Then she heard a voice behind her, know your place. Mirako turned around only to meet a fist into her stomach. She was sent flying, rolling around like a rag doll, being dragged by the force of his punch. She was hurting all over. But her pride didn't let her stay down. She quickly got up. Crouched on all fours. That punch was definitely going to leave a big bruise. Who, still standing? Garu leaned against a tree, his hands in his pockets. Go to hell. Mirako got back on her feet and dashed towards him. She sent a fury of kicks mixed in a punch when she could. But each kick, each punch was deflected by Garu. Mirako pushed him back, but he effortlessly hit them away. You like? It's called Water Rock Smashing Fist. The name is terrible, but the martial art is designed for parrying, and then counter-attacking. Garu parried her kick with a lot more force than before, knocking her slightly off balance. He then started to turn. Mirako, knowing his next move, with her one leg on the ground, she jumped backward as fast as she could and put her together to guard, just in time as his spinning kick hit her in her guard. Much better. You blocked that one. Let's see you block this. Rankyaku. Garu kicked the air, sending a sharp light blue arc flying towards the hero. Mirako, whose back was turned to him, heard him call out his attack. And relying on her rabbit instincts, jumped sideways, and a slash mark appeared where she stood. What the hell was that? She looked at the mark on the ground, then at Garu. A martial art I designed. One of 6 special moves. I kick the air so hard the wind pressure creates an air blade. Honestly, I'm surprised you never figured this out, considering you use your legs most of the time. But I'm glad you know this one. Even if it's a basic incomplete version. Jeppo. Garu jumped in the air and kicked, making a small shockwave with each step. It looked like he was running on air. Mirako watched speechlessly as he performed the move she has been struggling so effortlessly and so many times. At most, she can do it 2 to 3 times before her legs give out. Garu softly landed on the ground and grinned at her. Your move, rabbit. Mirako, knowing that she was outclassed, still stood up. A chance, I just need one opening to use Lunati Harris. I'll rip his head off. I just need one little opening. Mirako started to run lightly, with each step putting more and more force in it. Halfway into the run she was at her top speed. Garu just stood there watching her, coming at him like a bullet. She telegraphed a spinning kick. The same one he used on her. A bit petty, aren't you? Garu stretched his hands out, indenting to catch her leg. But then Mirako did the unthinkable. She stopped her kick and her back was turned to him. If he took a step forward and punched her in her back, he could cripple her. But the move surprised him and she took the opportunity that presented itself. She did a backflip, her hands landing on his wrists, the momentum pulling them up, and she landed on his shoulders. Her thighs quickly pressed together on his neck. Got you now, fucker. Say goodbye to your head. Lunati Harris. Mirako let go of his hands, and pressed her thighs even harder. She used her full body weight to twist and fall to the side and use every bit of her superhuman strength to rip his head off. But just as she was falling, she stopped midway. And heard him laughing. Ha ha ha, an interesting move. Be proud of yourself. You made me use my quirk. Mirako looked at him, shocked by what she was seeing. His whole body was black. The texture of his skin changed. She could feel it on his neck. It was hard like stone. He grabbed her thighs and squeezed, forcing them open. He then threw her at full strength. She felt herself hitting tree branches, breaking them. Some were thicker than her arms. After flying for what felt like 20 meters, she stopped and fell to the ground. Her body was in pain, she couldn't move. Ah, it's over already. And things were just about to get interesting. Garu said casually, looking at the fallen hero. Looks like only the kid can give me the challenge I want. Mirako's ears perked up when he said kid. What kid? She spoke softly, ignoring the pain it brought. Even breathing was painful to her now. Shinichi Kodo. The martial genius. We fought, by the way, he lasted a lot longer than you. You fought a kid, how low will you fall, you scumbag? Mirako spat out. She saw him on the news, so at least he didn't kill the kid. Garu just laughed at her. You don't get it, do you? We are both a once-in-a-millennia talent, and against all odds, both of us were born in the same era. A few years apart. That has never happened before. This is fate. Anything I know, he can learn it. Anything he knows, I can learn it. A continuous cycle of improvement. Each of us finds strong people to fight. We learn, we adapt. Then we fight each other. And steal techniques we have learned. He already copied most of my martial arts. We decided we will fight seriously will be once he fully matures. Whining against him now won't bring me any satisfaction. When both he and I are at our physical peak, that's when we fight. His quirk sped up his growth. In a few years, it will be all over. A fight to the death. The last one standing will be the strongest. Garu started to grin, his excitement was rolling off of him. You are insane. You want to kill a child? She screamed at him. She stood up, her body still in pain, but she pushed through it. She was horrified by his goal. He was going to murder a child. A child? A child. For the first time, Garu yelled at her, showing his true self. That child can easily massacre your top 10. He tied with me. You wouldn't last 5 minutes with him. The rabbit hero, Mirako. Currently number 11 on the I'm a Famous Hero rankings. Go seek out the kid. Challenge him to a fight. See for yourself. Does he need your protection? Or do you need his? Garu finished his speech and disappeared in a blur, leaving behind a bruised and bleeding rabbit. Her pride was crushed. Her body left in pieces. She fell down on her knees and looked at the sky. Tears slowly started to run down her cheeks. Her life was spared. And it hurt. Number location, some forest in the middle of nowhere. Why the hell does a teenager live in a forest? Mirako grumbles as she walks through the path with a GPS in her hand. She was only given the location for the meeting. I don't expect much from a 12-year-old kid. What advice could he offer on how to fight that monster? She shivered, remembering her fight with him. Why chose a forest as the meeting location anyway? Well, it's better than some other place where people would just gawk at her. Fame doesn't mean much to her. She became a hero because she wanted to fight. That's it. No greater purpose. No heroic reason. She just wants to fight strong people. And only a hero can do that. Legally. Asterisk boom. Boom asterisk. Her ears perk up as she hears shockwaves and small explosions. What the? Mirako speeds up and the sight shocks her. Trees ripped in half. Boulders crushed. Lines in the ground like it's been cut. And in the middle of it all. A boy. No, he cannot be called a boy. More like a man. He was dressed only in shorts. His body was drenched in sweat. With every move he made, his powerful muscles flexed. He looked nothing like the heroes she knew. There was a difference between bodybuilder and hero training. The first only increased their muscle mass. Heroes didn't need any useless muscles. So they had more advanced training. In other words, muscles that were made for fighting. She thought she had seen them. She was proud of her body. Especially her legs. But looking at him, she couldn't help but think about how he did it. It looked like he was sculpted from marble. Not a gram of fat on him. Mirako, I presume. His deep voice snapped her out of her daze. A voice she was totally not expecting from a 12-year-old. He extended his hand to her. Kodo Shinichi. A pleasure. Chapter 71, Meet Mirako. Mirako POV. Shinichi Kodo. A pleasure. I saw his extended hand and took it. Rumi Usagi-yama. He started chuckling, and looked me with an amused smile. Aren't heroes supposed to hide their secret identities? I couldn't stop myself from laughing. The only reason I use a hero name is so people wouldn't bother me if they knew my real name. I like my silent and peaceful life. So if I hear a word that you have spread this, I will make you sorry you have ever been born. He only raised an eyebrow at that. Okay, that might not have been the best idea. Threatening the guy who has the information I need. You think you can beat me? I'm sorry, but weren't you warned before you came to visit me, and what makes you think that you can even beat me? I immediately thought of Garu. This little bastard is looking down on me. Just like him, he thinks I'm weak. I growl at him, say that again. I expected him to insult me, to degrade me. His attitude is probably the same like that piece of shit Garu. But he just sighed. You heroes and your delusional views on strength, listen here Rumi. Oh, and I'm skipping the formalities, they are too much of a pain. You heroes think just because you beat some dangerous villains and can do a lot of damage you are a hot shot. Tell me, can you stop this? He walked over to a clearing where there was absolutely no damage done there. It had his stuff. He grabbed a sword. A pitch black katana. What are you gonna do? Cut me? I could kick him to Tokyo and back before he could even move. See, this is what I mean. I know Garu told you about me. And that I have stolen his moves. Does a cutting move ring any bells? He drew the sword and raised it above his head. I shudder. My body was frozen. My senses were screaming. Run! I remembered. The kick, the air slash. Rankyaku. I'll be cut. Move Rumi. Move. Kodo's muscles flexed and he swung the sword down with such force it entered the ground. A second, not a fraction of a second later. The air slash came. It was big. No, it was huge. Easily 10 meters in height. It was cutting the ground, coming straight at me. I did the only thing I could. I bit my tongue. Pain. Pain erupted from my mouth. But I can move again. I jumped and rolled away. A few feet before the air slash attacked where I was standing, and it continued for at least 10 more meters. I could feel my legs shaking. I forced myself to stand up. The crevice in the earth. It was at least 30 meters long. You little shit, how did you do that? How did you freeze me in place? I growled at him. That was the most terrifying thing I saw in my life, and the little shit was still smirking at me. That was bloodlust. Plain and simple. Bullshit. I have fought killers before. None of them can do what you do. Not even Garu can do it. You think Jairu can't do this? Where do you think I learned it? The reason he probably didn't use it on you is because you were too weak. People who take a martial art to its peak can do this. We force your own mind with our will, to think that it's about to die, so that freezes you in place. A/N think Stain with Endeavor and the others. He turns to the cut in the ground. This is true strength. I can do that move and many times as I want. That wasn't even my full power. Not the delusional super moves you heroes make. Even All Might. The man is an imbecile. He has the most physical strength I have seen. And all he does is punch people in different ways. He will lose against Garu. And soon he will lose against me as well. All Might is the strongest hero. That is undisputed. But he has fought supervillains. Quirks of a wide variety capable of great destruction. He has never fought people like us, he declared strongly. He didn't dream of beating All Might. He knew. He knew it was only a matter of time. And just to further break apart that hero mentality, watch this, he went to a giant boulder twice as big as himself and put his fist to it, and took a deep stance. I unconsciously got nearer to get a better view of what he is doing. He wasn't touching the boulder, there was a tiny space between them. Wait, no way. He took a deep breath and moved. The entire thing was unreal. I was watching him the entire time. He barely moved and the boulder was split in half and a fist mark was where he hit it. You will capture me? Put cuffs on me? PFF. Please. You could put me in a straitjacket like those lunatics and I will still massacre the whole lot of you. Anything I can do Garou can do it as well. Anything he can do I can do it with a little bit of time. That's who you fighting against. I know you came here for advice on how to deal with him. So here it is. Leave him alone, if you see him run. Just because he let you go once, doesn't mean he will do it again. I could feel anger rising from within me. I stood in front of him and ranged. Then what am I supposed to do? How do I fight monsters like them? Weren't you listening? I stole those moves. What's stopping you from doing the same? He stood in front of me. We were the same height but I felt smaller. It was an instinctual thing. Like how a snake is smaller than some animals but they still avoid it knowing they would die if they attacked it. So what you will teach me? I hate the fact that he looked at me like I was an idiot. Do you think Garou taught me his moves step by step? I figured them out while we were fighting. If you want to get stronger, you just have to fight me. Survive my training and I guarantee you will get stronger. This is weird. I'm going to be fighting an overpowered 12-year-old who looks like he was made by gods. So I can try and survive a maniac who is equally overpowered. I miss the simple times before Garou appeared. Will you be using your quirk? The lion transformation. That increases your strength, right? If I'm going to be learning from him, might as well do it right. He started just laughing, ha ha ha. You think the lion is my quirk? That's hilarious. He laughed so hard his stomach started hurting. Which pissed me off even more. And I can't do shit about it. If it was anyone else my foot would have slammed him into the ground. Well, what's your quirk then, tough guy? It's gotta be the lion. It's the only thing that makes sense. He put his hands on his hips and grinned at me. Next thing I know his ears started moving. They got wider and furrier. And started extending to from. Bunny ears. TT those are. Yep, bunny ears comes with the tail as well. He turned around to show a familiar fluffy white tail. One that I see in the mirror every morning. If you do want a fly to get in there, I suggest you close that mouth. As I registered his words, my mouth closed with an audible clack. I could feel my face heating up. Fuck. Mirako does not get embarrassed. Especially not by a very handsome kid. He is just a kid. These aren't just cosmetics. The inside are changed as well. He jumped lightly. Like it should have gotten him a couple centimeters off the ground, normally. He jumped 2 feet. He has my powers. Prepare yourself. This will probably traumatize you, but as long as you get stronger it's fine. Huh? What do you? Hussy. Out from his back came out. Giant. Red. Tentacles. Octopus tentacles. Shit. Number. BTW, I caught the flu that has been going around here. It isn't so bad that I don't go to work. But as soon as I get back home I fall asleep. I slept for 14 hours yesterday. Chapter 72, Hospital Visit. VIP seats. Room 4. We have a winner. Shinichi Kodo. Winner by knockout. The announcer's voice spread across the stadium. Kodo raised his hand. And the crowd went wild. A blonde man with long hair who looked like skin and bones smiled. That young man hasn't changed a bit since the day we met. What do you think of him, Naomasa? Next to him was Detective Naomasa in his civilian clothes. Strong. Prideful. How did you meet him again? Well. Number flashback to Shin vs Toxic Chainsaw Aftermath. Musudafu City Hospital. Is my son going to be alright? Chisaki Kodo asked the doctor, his voice filled with worry. Yes, surprisingly. The doctor said while reading the charts he was given. He looked overwhelmed by what he was seeing. What do you mean? Ryu Unosuk Kodo stood in front of the doctor demanding answers. Well, your son has just been through quite the traumatic experience. He is one of the few people that awakened or evolved their quirks. Especially since the process differs from person to person. One might do it if he is under huge amount of emotional stress, and another, like your son, awaken it in battle. He also had a high amount of poison in his body. Normally that should have killed him before he got here. But it seems with his upgraded quirk, he is neutralizing it. He answered calmly to the nervous parent. I'm glad. They all turned around to see a giant muscular man with blonde hair standing in the doorway. All Might. X3, parents and doctor. I came here to check up on the boy and apologize to you. I didn't make it in time. If it wasn't for your son, many lives would have been lost. He will make a fine hero, All Might says with absolute certainty. That made the parents tear up. When the number one hero tells you that, they just can't help but feel proud of their son. I got sent to the hospital, filled with poison that was supposed to kill me. What part of this makes it seem like I will be a good hero, old man? A weak voice filled with sarcasm echoed in the hospital room. Shinichi, his parents yelled as they rushed towards him. The doctor and All Might stood there frozen. Impossible, he should have been unconscious for at least a few more days. The doctor hurried along and started a full-body checkup on Shin. Incredible, my quirk allows me to see the body down to the cellular level. That's why I'm so valued. I'm a living microscope. And right now all of the poison in his body is being removed by his cells. This is normal, but he is doing it 3 times faster than anyone I have seen. The doctor was looking at him completely astounded. So he will be fine. Chisaki said, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'll be fine. The question is, when can I leave? Shinichi interrupted before the doctor could answer. Shin, don't be rude. Please continue. Doctor His after sent him a look before apologizing to the doctor. It's fine. He will recover quickly, but just in case he will have to spend a week here. Shinichi only grumble out, great. He was clearly not happy about being stuck in a bed for a week. Kodo Shonen. That was a very brave thing to do, stepping up to save the citizens like that. All Might walked up, towering over the other people in the room. Looking at the boy on the bed with a glowing smile. Kodo Shonen equals basically young Kodo. All Might says that to everyone. The literal translation of Shonen is young man. I kept him occupied until the heroes arrived. As soon as one came, I left it up to him. I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful. It's sad that he died. But if he was unprepared to face villains, why did he act so arrogantly? It was clear that he was trying to call the hero weak. Ah! All Might was standing there thinking on how to explain this without insulting anybody. The last thing they need is to criticize a dead hero. All Might cleared his throat and started talking. Syndrome was an exceptional student. While he didn't go to UA, he still went to a fairly respectable hero school and passed with flying colors. His quirk makes it very easy for him to subdue villains, and he only got stronger with his support gear. I have heard rumors that he grew arrogant and stopped training thinking he was strong enough. That seems to have led to his downfall. So he was an arrogant, self-centered prick who thought he was the best. I fought without my quirk and I still lasted longer than the so-called pro-hero. Shinichi said bluntly, making All Might win CE. Haha. You sure don't sugarcoat anything, do you? But then again, with your skills and reputation, you don't need to. Plus I like it when people speak what's on their mind. Shinichi raised an eyebrow at All Might. Really? Do you want me to tell you what I think about you? All Might grimaced and nodded. He was probably not going to like what followed. Okay. I think that you are the reason why so many heroes die. You set an unreasonable standard that villains should be captured with the least harm done to them. People try to follow in your footsteps, forgetting that they don't have your super strength. I agree that thieves should be captured in that way. But murderers and rapists should be stopped by any means necessary, even their death. I saw a report that a villain captured a hostage and the heroes stood there doing nothing. The solution was simple: get a sniper and put a bullet in his head. Yet they just stood there until the villain molested then killed the hostage and himself. The room went silent. His parents didn't say anything, they almost lost their child because the heroes were late. A scene where Shinichi was being held hostage while heroes were just standing there kept playing in their minds. All Might on the other hand was having an internal debate. This is bad. A child should not have such a worldview. While he isn't wrong, he isn't right either. There is always a better way. He will definitely become a hero. But what should happen if he still holds to his current ideals? And if he doesn't become a hero, there is a high chance he will become a vigilante who hunts down and kills villains. No. I won't let such a bright boy lose himself to the dark. All Might stood in front of the bed and gave his brightest smile. Kodo Shonen. What do you think about becoming my apprentice? Chapter 73, Hospital Visit 2. Kodo Shonen. What do you say you train under me? All Might's words made everybody drop their jaws except Shin. His mother looked like she was about to pass out. Shinichi rubbed his chin while thinking about his offer. I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to have to decline. Shin replied in a calm yet apologetic tone. What? Why? His mother yelled out. Everybody else wanted to know the reason as well. All Might seemed surprised that his offer was rejected but kept his cool. If it isn't too hard, please explain, Kodo Shonen. Shinichi just facepalmed and dragged his hand down. All Might and me are different types of fighters. I, while am quite strong, rely more on technical techniques. He just uses his overwhelming force to punch through anything in his way. Me learning under him would waste both of our time. Then again, there aren't many people left in this world I can learn from. I have already developed my style and know in which direction I want to go. Honestly, the only thing I lack now is experience. So while I won't be able to study under you, I would like the opportunity to spar against you. You wanted to reward my heroic deed, right? So I want the right to challenge you. All Might stopped to consider his words. He is right. While I have studied martial arts, I only know boxing techniques and a few others. And trying to teach martial arts to the one person that is literally revolutionizing it, wasn't my best idea. I plan to teach him on how to become a hero and how to work out properly. But looking at his body makes the second one obsolete. Kodo Shonen has extremely developed muscles. The kind you won't get just from working out in a gym. Each muscle was built for fighting. Which makes him even more impressive given his age. Ha ha ha. All right, no. All Might laughed at his pun. The people in the room just smiled. The man's positivity spread, making everybody relax. Well, everybody except the patient who looked impatient. I agree, Kodo Shonen. But why do those particular words right to challenge? Does it have a deeper meaning? Shin just nodded. I will continue to grow and improve. Having a set time for sparring will actually slow me down. So I want the right to challenge you. Anytime. Anywhere. Of course, if you are in an emergency or have a prior arrangement, you will go deal with that. But if you are free, you can't decline my challenge. This was implemented by a particular group of martial artists centuries ago. Okay, but let's keep it 1 to 2 challenges per month. I would prefer it this way actually. I get to keep track of your growth. It would be quite the sight, seeing a talented young man grow into a fine hero. All Might replied and gave his billion-watt smile that brightened up the room. Even the ever-so-quiet Shinichi smiled. On the outside, that is. A front row seat to all of All Might's moves, all of his patterns, his positioning, his weaknesses. Yes please. And I get to choose when I want to spar against him. He gave me all the information Garu needs to defeat All Might on a silver platter. The fight will be years away. But it will be so one-sided it won't even be funny. All Might just continued smiling. I'm sure the Kodo Shonen will change his mind. He is still young. Teenagers change their worldview every few months. I will need to bring some children of my hero friends, it will be nice for the future generation to socialize before they enter hero school. That will allow them to get to know each other and train together much earlier, making the next hero generation stronger. I wonder why don't they implement this? Making every top student come for a meet and greet. Asterisk. BZZZZ. All Might's work phone started buzzing. Well, Kodo Shonen, I wish you a fast recovery. Sadly I must leave. Crime never rests, and neither shall I call my agency and tell them your name if you need anything. I wish you all a pleasant evening. Number back to VIP room 4. That was my first meeting with the boy. We met up several times from then to spar. And let me tell you, that kid doesn't mess around. The first time we sparred was on a beach. I underestimated him. And paid the price. All Might actually blushed. Who, now this I have to hear. Naomasa grinned. I let the kid have a free shot at me. Kodo Shonen didn't say anything and just gave me a look of pity. At first I was confused, but then he vanished and appeared right at me with his foot aimed at my face. I was blasted into the water. He got it on 4K and used it to blackmail me for food. Good thing I'm rich, otherwise I would have gone broke. Ha 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 ha. Naomasa started laughing and a few moments later fell to the ground holding his sides. Laugh it up, let me see you go up against him. In the first fight, he took 20% of my full power. That got Naomasa to quickly stop. For real? A boy who was not even a teenager yet forced you to use 20%. All Might proudly smiled. Astonishing, is it not? Even if I'm not his teacher, I can't help but feel proud of what he has accomplished. In our last fight he made me use 50% the whole time and I used 60% to finish the fight. Naomasa just stood there frozen. His brain comprehended what he just heard. He. How? His martial arts. He truly is a genius. He redirects most of the force from my punches away from him. He is a nightmare for anyone using any sort of strength quirk. In fact, I brought some heroes with strength quirks to test that theory out. He used some sort of aikido to nullify their force and kept throwing them around like ragdolls. He said the only reason he hasn't done it to me is that I have too much force to negate, so he redirects it but takes minor damage each time. Naomasa was searching his head, still dazed about what he had heard. Wait, then what about this fight? Oh, that? He mentioned something about putting on a show for the public. All Might casually said and enjoyed the shocked expression on Naomasa's face. That's what you get for laughing at me. Maybe I can convince Kodo to go to the police station and give a few pointers to the policeman. That will be, as Kodo Shonen would put it, worth being filmed in 4K. His next match is about to start. Number. Word count 1160. Asterisk, because kids are jealous creatures and they would tear each other apart if you put them in the same room. Opinions? Chapter 74, Sword Fight. For those that want to read ahead or just want to support me, go check out my Pat. Since it's the start of the month, it's the best time to pledge. Just putting this in here so people are aware. No, I didn't time this on purpose. Finished the chap 5 minutes ago on Pat XD. As usual, tier 1 to 4.5 euro. Up to 5 chaps ahead on all of my FICS. Get 1 vote for the polls. Tier 2 9 euro. Up to 10 chaps ahead. Get 2 votes. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. Help me out, give me advice or just requests on how to improve the Discord. I have been writing a lot this weekend. Mostly on other stories on Pat. I'm happy that I wrote so much. I have been in the zone. BTW on code. Canon starts in about 1-3 ISH chapters. So be patient with me XD. Enjoy the chap. Word count 1650. Number. Winner Shinichi Kodo. Number. Kodo wins again. Number. In the next match, we have Shinichi Kodo versus the up-and-coming sword master Oga Kirasura. I looked at the man entering the stage. He was in his mid-20s. He had brown hair and a serious expression on his head. He was unarmed. But the way he carried himself was weird. It reminded me of a swordsman. He got into his position but looked directly at me. Kodo-sensei, will you do me the honor of fighting me with your swords? His voice was clear and was heard by everyone. I raised an eyebrow at him. You do know my requirements for challenging me in a duel, right? Plus, where are his swords? Yes, sir. He raised one of his arms and the lower half turned into a blade. He turned to the side and swung it vertically. An air blade left his arm and it crashed into the barrier protecting the wall. The audience watched the spot below them where the air blade made a cut in the ground. I nodded at him with a smile. Good. You are worthy. Only when you can make an air blade can you truly call yourself a swordsman. And only then will the path to greatness open to you. A bunch of bullshit, but true nonetheless. If they can't even do an air blade, they aren't worth mentioning or remembering. Once they do manage to make one, the future opens up to them. They aren't weak people with swords anymore. Your quirk makes your body produce blades. This gives you an advantage over other swordsmen. Your body is made of steel, meaning it's difficult for people to hurt or cut you. But that's just your natural advantage. I can also see you have been formally trained in sword fighting. He looked surprised at me. Yes, sir. I trained with the sword for a few years before deciding it would be better to treat my body as a sword. My quirk wasn't this good at the start. I could only make somewhat small but sharp edges on my fingers. But with time and training, I raised it to this level. So I naturally want to test it against the best swordsmen of our time. Please use your quirk as well. I wish to face you at your best. He is really buttering it up. He acts honest and formal, but he is probably thinking I won't be able to cut him. Most likely he has also trained in Tekai/Iron Body. I knew releasing those martial arts was a good idea. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to fight interesting people and steal the moves they invent. I agree. I will show you a small peek of what the best swordsman is capable of. The announcer finished updating the crowd about our deal and the countdown started. 3, 2, 1. Begin. Oga turned his arms into blades but looked confused about where my swords are. I smiled and I started to morph. My ears were elongated. My feet got bigger and longer. My belly expanded and a pouch appeared on it. A kangaroo. The announcer was speechless. So were the crowd and my opponent. I ignored them and put my arm into my pouch and took out a bag containing 7 swords. They were sharp on both sides and had no guard. The handle was red and the hilt was golden. I don't exactly go into Killer Bee's funky style. I get that he made it that way to make him more of a hedgehog so he cuts while he spins. I just made a few minor adjustments. In Bee's original stance, the swords were in his mouth and neck. 2 were in his right hand, in the armpit, and held in the elbow. Left arm just armpit. 1 held on his knee and the other one pressed together by the stomach and thigh. Like at the start, none of the swords were in his hands. Then again, he could have intended it to be that way so he can catch any sword he wants and switch them around easier. I put 2 swords behind my knees, buckling a little to keep them in place, both pointing outwards. 1 in my mouth. 2 were each in my hand, normal grip, which means pointing inwards. And 2 locked in each elbow pointing outwards. Before people could even get a good look at my stance, I jumped towards him and started spinning like a freaking Beyblade. Oga was so shocked by the development that he only woke up when I appeared in front of him. He held his arms together, both turned into blades, and defended himself. Sparks were shooting out everywhere. Number Oga Kirasura POV. What the hell is this? I knew there was a chance for me to lose against him. But to be so outmatched is ridiculous. I have been going around fighting swordsmen for the last year. ever since he revealed his new martial art to the world. The Roku Shiki. I got the air blade and iron body to an acceptable level. It was a pain to force the muscles to move that way, but I did it. Then I used them and my quirk to dominate my fights against anyone with a sword. More often than not I break their sword. I thought it would be enough to fight against the sword, as he is called amongst swordsmen. But this is ridiculous. I have been cut at least 10 times and it's barely been 10 seconds since we started fighting. I'm made of steel. How can he cut me? I'm using iron body sometimes and he still cuts me. He does a low kick at my thighs. It didn't look like much, but it turned me 180 degrees. I was upside down when the bastard tried to stab me with 3 swords. I guarded, but the force makes me step back a meter or 2. He constantly juggles the blades, throwing them in the air and catching them at weird angles to cut me. It's so freaking annoying and the crowd is loving it. Fuck. I see from the corner of my eyes him turning his head, the sword in his mouth coming in for my face. I quickly tilt my head backward, it cuts the bridge of my nose. Fucking hell. If I didn't move he would have blinded me. What the hell is his problem? Whoa. Shinichi Kodo takes back his sword in the last second to avoid giving a permanent injury to his opponent. What? Both of us stopped at the announcer's statement. I look back at him, then back at a grinding Kodo. Which pissed me off even more since he has a sword in his mouth and I can clearly see his grin. That motherfucker is playing with me while boosting his reputation. I going to make this bastard into mincemeat. I turn the bottom of my foot into a blade. Like for ice skating. Then I make a blade spiral appear on my forearms and hands. Now spin. Spiral grinder. Bzzzzzzz. The blades on my forearms start spinning, making them into grinders. Survive this, you little freak. Number 3rd POV. Oga goes out to punch Kodo, effectively drilling a hole in him. But Kodo did something unexpected in such a situation and just grinned. He didn't even try to dodge. He then did something that most people in the audience would consider insane. He threw almost all of his blades in the air. He only had 2 in his hands. Oga had a stunned look on his face but didn't slow down. Suddenly 2 red octopus tentacles appeared on his back, and each grabbed a sword. He then says silently, only enough so Oga can hear him. Let this be a lesson to you. You act honest and noble, but your actions tell otherwise. You tried to drag me down and rise to the top. Know your place, you arrogant fool. The tentacles twisted at weird angles, hitting him in both biceps and spreading his arms wide before letting go. The next instant was a blur. When the audience came to 5 swords were sticking out Oga's chest in different places. A couple of women were screaming in fright. Did contestant Kodo kill him? The announcer said, absent-mindedly, shocked by the turn of events. This caused Kodo to look at him and scowl. He grabbed the referee and his microphone. Don't be stupid. He is made of steel. Do you think this will kill him? And I specifically hit non-fatal spots. He won't even be left with a scar. How are strong people supposed to learn if you cuddle and spoil them? Get the medics here. Winner Shinichi Kodo. I apologize for my earlier statement. Can the medics please hurry up? When the ref got near the stabbed Oga, the audience could hear faint mumbling. Fucking sneaky brat. Stabbing me like that. Fucking asshole, I'll beat him next time. When the audience heard Oga, they immediately relaxed and had varying expressions. Some laughed a bit, others frowned. But most of them thought not to jump to conclusions when it comes down to these monsters. Normal rules don't apply to them. Who gets stabbed and still has the strength to curse like that? Shinichi Kodo just left for his room without a care in the world, leaving all the chaos behind. He had a smile on his face. All according to plan. If I don't break their stupid mindset now, there will be trouble in the future. These sheep will follow the stupid All Might ideals. I need to break it. I'll make sure I spin the story to be in my favor. Everything goes on like usual. The next match will be boring. But the finals I'm looking forward to. Chapter 75, Final Round. If you want to read ahead or just support me, go check out my Pat. Tier 1 5 chaps ahead on everything, 1 vote. Tier 2 -10 chaps ahead on everything, 2 votes. There are like 11 FICS started on Pat, I think. I blame my brain. It just won't stop until I write down the idea. Can't work on anything else in the meantime. Like Gohan was on my mind like for 5 days. I had to sit down and write out 4 chaps in one day to get it out of my system. Lately, I have started a vote for character names and plot course. Because it saves me the trouble of thinking about it and it gets you guys involved. patreon.com/alcoholic_panda, remove the extra spaces. discord.gg/6yyvm6tj6t. Word count 1076. Number. Third POV. I so pity them, Mako Shu said while looking at the stage. It's like watching a gorilla step on ants. Smack. Don't call sensei a gorilla. Momo, who smacked him, growled. Ouch. Momo-chan, I know you like Shin, but please stop it with the violence. I don't know what your parents were thinking when they hired him to teach you. You crushed the balls of that one guy who tried to hit on you last month. And Shin just stood there nodding with a proud expression. This is not normal. I know you like him, but stop picking up his bad habits, Mako said while nursing his head. This made Momo blush and smack him again. Oh, Shin brought out the swords. Well, this guy is dead. Tetsuya chuckled. Tetsu, don't be so crude. Shin won't kill him. Right. Takako said uncertainly and looked at the others. Tetsuya's girlfriend, Fujiwara Takako, the one with the black hair from Dia no Ace. Nah, Shinichi won't kill him. But he will rough him up a bit, Ran grumbled, still pissed from before. A few moments later. Makio Shu's lips were twitching while watching the fight. Rough him up, she said. The man stabbed him with 7 swords. Is he even alive? I'm pretty sure he is alive. Sensei would kill in public like this. Momo looked sure of herself. Well, he won't do it in public. He will just drag a guy in an ally and beat him to death. You should see what he did to some creep when we were in the US. He was groping some chicks, and he groped the girl Shin was with. He cut the man's balls off and fed them to said man. Shin is my homie, but he is a little crazy. But then again, he is exactly the kind of guy you want on your side. Shu sighs, remembering the scene. And the worst fucking part is the chick swooned at Shin. I mean literally fell in love. You know the term don't stick it in crazy, well that doesn't apply to Shin. Now he has some diehard fan out there ready to spread her. Smack. Ran smacked Shu so hard his face hit the floor. Shut it. I don't want to hear about Shinichi's exploits. Wait, how was Shinichi not charged? He committed a crime, Ran said thoughtfully. Shu got himself off the ground. Well. He immediately made some calls and the cops didn't even bother him. When I asked him how he did it, he just smiled and said it's nice to have friends, especially those who owe you favors. This brought silence to the room. That doesn't surprise me, was the thought of everybody in the room. Sigh, that fits sensei to a T. Momo rubbed her forehead but then looked at the people in the room. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel way more safe knowing what kind of person sensei is. He doesn't fake it when he is with us. Ha, you got that right. If there is any person I would choose to stand by me, it's Shin. I mean, look at him. He is 12 and is already destroying pro heroes left and right. Who's to say that he won't take down All Might in a few years? Tetsuya laughed. Ha ha ha. You know what? The funny thing is I can see Shin doing it. Do you think he will be the new number 1 after he beats All Might? Shu said while rubbing his chin. Doubt it. If there is anything I know about Shin is that he hates annoying stuff. Sure, he wants attention, even going as far as searching for it. But it's probably about his plan. Do you know he asked me once if I had any thoughts about going into PR, public relations, ... Ran said offhandedly while keeping her eyes locked on Shin, who was waiting for his opponent to show up. Well, Shinichi is a man with a plan. Takako hummed while playing with Tetsuya's hair. Oh, he is here, it's time for the finals. I wonder how Shin will take care of this guy. Bets anyone? Shu smirked. KO. Drop kick. German suplex. Easy money right here. There is only one way Shin will end the final. We said it before. He can't resist the opportunity to show off. Tetsuya smirked as he put down his bet. Number MC POV, the great Shinichi Kodo. Finally the finals. That sentence was weird, but whatever. This guy has some sort of gratification quirk that makes him bigger, stronger and tougher. I'm pretty sure his skin is more durable than iron. Not like it will change anything. Sigh to think this will be my last tournament. In at least a while. I'm not competing in any others except the global one. I'm at the peak of my height, at least as a martial artist. There aren't a lot more benefits I can get from this. So it's better to use my time in other endeavors. A tanned man stepped onto the stage. He had black hair shaped in a bun and a groomed beard. He was dressed like a pro wrestler. Only wearing green trunks. The boulder will take great joy in beating down the lion. Wait, isn't his guy the one who got reeked by Toph in the Avatar? How didn't I notice this before? Oh, this is too good. Sounds to me like you're scared, boulder. I can feel you shaking from over here. He frowned and his face turned red. The boulder will smash you in the ground and bury you alive. Whenever you are ready. The pebble. Ha 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 ha, this is fun. His face looks like a tomato. Taunting opponents never gets old. It's the only amusement I got these days. Well, this should be amusing. If our contestants are done with the trash talking, they can go to their corners. The announcer's voice boomed across the stadium. Both of us slowly walked to each corner. The pebble tried to be intimidating by flexing his muscles. Seeing as that didn't work, he activated his quirk. His size grew, like going from 2 meters to 10. His skin took on a bronze sheen. Now, how do I beat him into the ground? Do I go full martial arts? Do I turn into a lion and rip him apart? Decisions, decisions. Ready. Begin.